It's you. It's you. The second brother's eyes grew dark, and his gaze grew even more vicious. With a cold snort, he cried out, "Kid, you've finally come." It was also at this time. Long Fei roared in his heart. Fourth level, peerless. Open. The aura on his body moved as power of celestial surged out, and he took a step forward. Boom! With a grab of his right hand, the dragon's salure landed on his palm and fiercely slashed down. The second brother snorted, "With just you? Rank 5 immortal cultivation? So weak." The second brother was not afraid at all. He opened up his 5 fingers, and the binding power of the 5 power of celestial coiled around Xiang Longfei like silk threads from heaven. As long as he was coiled around, Longfei would not be able to move. However, the wrath of the dragon god, Buzz, the shadow of the dark dragon god, moved and slashed out. Crack! The power of celestial released by the second brother had already been destroyed, so Long Fei's entire being advanced in an instant. His shoulder suddenly knocked against the second brother's chest, and before he could even stand firm, he had already fiercely grabbed onto his throat. The second brother's face grew aghast as his eyes began to tremble. "You dog! What are you trying to do?" "For what? Kill you!" Long Fei roared. The second brother's face was pale, and he said angrily, "You dare! I'm the disciple of God Emperor Academy. If you dare touch me, you are going against the entire God Emperor Academy. Do you dare? On that day, you didn't even dare to attack that expert. Yet you, a trash who has the power of a fox, dared to touch me? Ha ha!" The second brother roared. What kind of existence was the God Emperor Academy? Who would dare to offend the strongest power in a mortal domain? No one. However, Long Fei was an exception. He grabbed the second brother's throat with one hand, fiercely grabbed his head with the other, and pressed him down using the power of celestial on his body. He knelt on the ground. Long Fei sneered and said, "I don't dare, right?" With a sudden flick of his left hand, a malevolent look appeared on his face. Crack! The second brother's neck rotated at 360 degrees, and his eyes bulged, his pupils bloodshot. Long Fei asked with a voice like the god of death, "Do I?" If he was not there, he would have killed these scum long ago. The scene today, he was even more enraged. These scum were not qualified to live in this world. If the God Emperor Academy were this kind of scum, Long Fei would kill them one by one. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Old Lu Air for obtaining 56-0 experience, 100 power of celestial, and 100 energy values. The system sounded out. Long Fei's gaze swept across them, stared at the bandits, and then coldly said, "Next." Lin Long was even able to react a little. No one had ever dared to be so arrogant and kill a student of the God Emperor Academy in public. Is this man crazy? Was he a fool? Or was his brain filled with water? How dare he kill a student of the God Emperor Academy in front of so many people? This was too crazy. Attack! Lin Long's voice sank and said, "Kill him. Kid, since that expert isn't here today, I would like to see if you still have the ability to do so. Kill." As soon as his voice faded, a dozen or so bandits quickly rushed forward, and the disciples of the 3 God Emperor Academy surrounded them. Huff! It was fine for a dozen bandits, but their cultivation base was not high. They were only at the 3rd level of the immortal realm, 4th level, but, however, these 4 God Emperor Academy were extremely difficult to deal with. When he killed Second Elder Lu a moment ago, Long Fei clearly felt a strong pressure. If not for the fact that the dragon salures might had cut off his control, the one who would have fallen would definitely have been Long Fei. However, Long Fei was currently burning with anger, looking at the little girl who died, that was the daughter of the chief bodyguard, looking at the dead old man, that was the old man who poured wine for him. The guards, it was his brother who had fought alongside him. Buzz! The anger in Long Fei's body exploded like a volcano as he roared in his heart. "9 great immortal spirit, let me see your strength." Bong! The deepest part of Long Fei's mind felt as though the mountains were collapsing and the earth cracking as a strong power surged out. It was also at this moment. Wong! In his mind, the 9 great immortal spirit was like 9 bronze men. The first bronze man activated inside his body, and when he opened his eyes, his body began to move. Just like the bronze men from the Shaolin Temple, each move was executed. It was also at this moment. Long Fei completely followed his movements and attacked together. Bam! A bandit was killed in an instant. Ding! Bam! Yet another bandit was killed in an instant. Ding! The system sounded out yet again. Long Fei's heart started to boil. Is this the power of the 9 great immortal spirit? It was a total slaughter. Every move carried the power of a 9 great immortal spirit. Those bandits could not withstand it at all. The God Emperor, Academy disciple of the Holy 6th rank, rushed forward, his long blade cutting down, causing the bronze man's eyes to tremble. Boom! Long Fei's eyes flashed with a golden light. The golden light with its grade 9 immortal root crushed that God Emperor Academy disciple to pieces, and blood poured out of his 7 orifices. Instant kill. Long Fei moved as though he was flying, and all 20-odd people were killed within a minute, their experience points increasing by a large amount. At the same time, Long Fei stared at Lin Long and coldly said, "Next." Ding! The 9 great immortal spirits' duration is over. F***CK. 1 minute. It can only be used for 1 minute. Long Fei cursed in his heart. He never thought that the 9 great immortal spirit could only be used for such a short period of time. Moreover, it was the number 1 bronze statue. What about the 2nd bronze man? 3rd, 4th? What about the 9th bronze man? 1 person a minute. The 9 great immortal spirits' duration had ended, but the domineering aura on Long Fei's body did not decrease at all. He knew in his heart that he would definitely not be Lin Long's match with his own strength. However, he was shocked. Moreover, a month ago, a shadow had appeared in his heart. Now that he had been intimidated, his temperament was in complete chaos. Even a worldly immortal stage level 8 was extremely difficult to deal with. The dragon salure in Long Fei's hand pointed, and the gravitational flame started to burn crazily. The tyrannical aura on his body became even more intense as he roared loudly. "Speak! Wasn't it very arrogant in the beginning? Come on, isn't God Emperor Academy very amazing? UF * King Scum." The dragon salure pointed at Lin Long's nose and firmly smashed away at Lin Long's mind. In Long Fei's eyes, Lin Long was still a small boss. Although the golden light surrounding his body wasn't strong, he still had a little bit of it. Explode him. Lin Long didn't say anything. Instead, Long Fei took a step forward and fiercely smashed the dragon salure in his hands. The illusion of the dark dragon god roared as he heavily chopped down. Lin Long's legs went soft. Long Fei had overestimated him. Seeing more than 20 people being killed by Long Fei, coupled with the shadow in his heart, he didn't even have the strength to resist and was already scared out of his wits. He never thought that Long Fei would be so abnormal. His body trembled uncontrollably as he watched the blade fall down. "Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't." Crack! Kill! A head fell to the ground. Long Fei was shocked. Damn, it's that simple. At the same time, release your striking attribute. 30 points of luck and something good, Demetia. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 5. Thank you for everyone's support. 8_8419/2356883. The boss would mutate. The boss would mutate. The first time he saw Lin Long, his body did not emit a golden light. So even though Long Fei wanted to kill them at that time, it was not strong enough. Now, Lin Long's feet shone with a golden light. Even if it was not the boss, it was an elite monster. If that was the case, then there would only be one result. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lin Long for obtaining 100 experience points, 20 power celestial, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining level 1 immortal root. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining immortal mode. Do you wish to activate it? What? Immortal mode? Long Fei's mind tensed up. What does it mean to be an immortal? The immortal mode of the Flame Shadow Ninja, who summoned a giant toad. Gudong! Long Fei's heart suddenly became excited, and he immediately said, Open, open, Boss Toad, just listen to my summons from now on, huh? The system beep sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating Immortal Mode. You have received 100 experience points. Mode, Celestial Description, connecting with the foreign idea, communicating with them, producing a powerful summon. Description 2, interacting with the idea, releasing the powerful power of Celestial will allow one to reach the immortal realm. Haha! The image of Ming Run standing on top of the Toad boss flashed across Long Fei's mind. He was extremely excited, and without even thinking, he struck his palm onto the flame shadow, smacking the ground hard, and shouted, Come out, Toad boss! This hit was very heavy. Long Fei even used the power of Celestial to slap the ground. A cloud of dust was kicked up by him. At this moment, a scumbag who was rolling balls of *T slowly walked past his fingertips, stopping beside his fingers for a bit. With just a little strength, the ball of cow *T rolled past Long Fei's fingers. Long Fei saw 2 words from the Dung Crown Prince's eyes, too strong. The scornful look on his face. At this moment, everyone on the God Soul Town were looking at him, not knowing what he was doing. They were dumbstruck, staring at Long Fei as if he was a monster. A few people started discussing in low voices. What is he doing? I don't know. He's probably holding it in. Big move. Didn't you see his serious expression? He must be in an enlargement stroke. What are you holding back? Everyone's dead. What are you holding back? He's trying to fart. Don't spout nonsense. He's the hero of our town. That's right, what fart? Even if it's fart, it's still fart. Long Fei heard the crow fly past his mind. Wah wah. Black lines also appeared on his forehead. This was too embarrassing. Not to mention summoning the Toad boss. He couldn't even summon the tadpole, much less link with a foreign land, let alone communicate with the Toad boss. At the same time, Long Fei quickly checked Immortal Mode. Ding! System notification. Unable to summon foreign creatures. Unable to activate Immortal Mode. System notification. Unable to summon foreign creatures. Unable to use Innate Mode. The system kept reminding him. As expected, Long Fei sighed in his heart. He had trained in the skill summoning technique before, but the skill level of the summoning technique was still level 0. When Long Fei saw that dung shells, he was shocked. He thought he would be able to summon out a dung-shelled lobster. Unexpectedly, even the shithole despised him. At this moment, Chief Bodyguard walked up with much difficulty and asked, Brother Long, what's wrong? He slapped the ground with one hand, his butt sticking out and his face full of excitement. His movements were very sharp. At the very least, there were a lot of chubby young girls who weighed at least 200 pounds, but they were all attracted to him. Hiss! Long Fei retracted his hand and immediately covered his stomach, saying, my liver hurts. A child said, Isn't that the stomach? Long Fei immediately moved his hand up and said, Liver pain, it really is liver pain. Daddy, isn't the place he's touching the heart? Where exactly is he in pain? The boy asked seriously. While they were talking, he said seriously, Uncle Hero, the liver is in this position. Do you feel pain in this position? Long Fei felt like dying. He forced a smile and said, Uncle's liver is so painful. Other than the liver, it's also painful everywhere else. In the past, he had always laughed at Xiao Bai for holding back so much. Now, heavens, do you want me to embarrass myself in front of so many people? Long Fei was extremely depressed, but fortunately, his acting was superb, and he managed to trick them all. Chief Bodyguard asked, Are you all right? Long Fei recovered his expression and said, Don't worry, this little bit of pain is nothing. Quickly go and take a look at your family. Thinking about family, Chief Bodyguard's face sunk. His body seemed to have become paralyzed in a moment. Shu Qin. Lingner, Chief Bodyguard, rushed forward. His wife woke up, and seeing her daughter lying motionless on the ground, she started to cry loudly. Lingner. He began to feel pain. Long Fei's heart was also filled with grief as he muttered to himself, "Ancestor." Yin Huang Ancestor said, "You can save him." Long Fei was startled. I can save her." The Yin Huang Ancestor said, "The god's soul herb you devoured possesses the power to return the soul to the body. She's actually not completely dead yet and is still in a rush." "What should I do?" Long Fei immediately asked. Yin Huang Ancestor said, "Use the power of the 9 great immortal spirit in your mind." Long Fei did not care that much and immediately charged forward, saying, "Big brother guard, let me see. Linger is not dead yet, there is still a chance." At this moment, Long Fei was not in a hurry. Yin Huang Ancestor said that she would definitely be able to save him if she could save him. At the same time, Long Fei's heart was moved. The idea entered deep into his mind. The 9 great immortal spirit was like a water lotus, quietly laying there. The 9 great bronze men also quietly closed their eyes. "Lend me some strength." Long Fei's mind shook, and with a loud roar, he broke the tranquility in his heart. Buzz! The 9 great bronze men all opened their eyes in fury. Long Fei concentrated and condensed a drop of blood essence from his finger, which he poured into Linger's mouth. As such, Long Fei's face suddenly became extremely pale. It was as if his entire body was sucked dry. He and the 9 great immortal spirit reached an agreement that he would not be able to use the 9 great immortal spirit's power for a month. He could save this little girl for at least a year. Once the 9 great immortal spirit's power was used, Long Fei's body would not be able to withstand it, and would thus become extremely tired, causing his body to be unable to endure it. Woo! Cough, cough, cough. Linger let out a heavy breath, coughing a few times as traces of blood appeared on her pale face. Long Fei smiled knowingly. "I'm alive." Chapter 18_8419/2356884. Long Fei wanted to save more people. Long Fei wanted to save more people. However, only Linger met the requirements. So no matter how much blood essence he condensed from the 9 great immortal spirit, he wouldn't be able to save her. Moreover, according to the ancestor, Linger's physique was different. Adding the power of the 9 great immortal spirit, her achievements in the future would be different from ordinary people. He would definitely become a female expert. Looking at the little bear doll in Linger's hands, Long Fei's mind trembled and thought to himself, won't she become a fire woman and summon that monster bear out? 3 days later, Long Fei's body recovered. At the entrance of the town, "Dragon Hero, you saved our entire town and my daughter. I will never forget your great kindness. If there's anything you need in the future, just let me know. I will go through fire and water, and I will die no matter what." Chief Bodyguard said heavily as his hands tightly hugged each other. Linger also giggled, playfully saying, "Uncle Long, you have to come back and visit us." Long Fei lightly rubbed Linger's head, then squatted down and whispered a few words into her ear. Linger blinked her large eyes, showing a shocked expression. "Uncle Long, can I really do it?" Long Fei nodded and said, "Of course, Linger is the strongest." And Linger took Long Fei's words to heart and took it seriously. She nodded her head heavily and said, "I will definitely become stronger in the future. I will protect Mother, Father, and even our town." Good girl." Long Fei smiled faintly, then stood up and looked at the people on the God Soul town and said, "Kid, farewell here. If there is a chance, I will definitely come back to see you. Hero, take care. Hero, be careful along the way. Hero, let me give you a child." When Long Fei saw a beautiful girl with a gigantic body who could crush a person to death lying on the ground, his chrysanthemum tightened and immediately shrank. He turned and ran out, saying, "Let's go." Watching Long Fei slowly disappear from their line of sight, the people from the God Soul town did not leave for a long time. Chief Bodyguard walked to the side of the old man in the town and said, "Ninth Grandpa, there are very few people with the dragon surname in a mortal domain. Would—" The old man nodded. "They might be the people from the Long family." "Someone from the Long family?" The surrounding people were shocked and asked, Someone from the Long family? What about the people from Long family? Who is from Long family? Many people did not know how many years had passed since Long family was mentioned by others. The reason Chief Bodyguard knew about it was from the old man. The old man looked in the direction in which Long Fei had disappeared in and muttered in a low voice. The people from Long family never retreat, never fear, and each of them is unyielding and unyielding. Once, a member of the Long family also came. Once, the old man turned around and looked at the God's Soul Mountain in the sky far away and said softly, the God's Soul Mountain was actually split apart by the people of the Long family. It's just that it was a dragon at that time. These are only legends. Nobody knew whether or not the legends of the God's Soul Mountain belonged to the God's Soul Town or not. Long Fei left. He had to leave, too. In the South Horizon region, he was unstoppable and unstoppable. However, in this immortal domain, when he was facing Second Elder Lu, he felt even more pressured. It wasn't that he wasn't strong enough, but there were simply too many people who were strong enough. Level 5 Immortal is too weak. If Lin Long had not been scared out of his wits by the shocking scene of the 9 great immortal spirit killing a person with one move, would Long Fei have wanted to kill Lin Long? It was impossible. Lin Long could definitely kill Long Fei. Even if he was only at the 8th stage of the immortal realm, he would be able to easily kill Long Fei. Immortal Domain. The gathering place of geniuses was also where the strong gathered. The difference in cultivation was like the difference between heaven and earth, even within the same realm. If he wanted to become stronger, he would have to level up. On the way, Yin Huang Ancestor asked, "What did you say to that little girl?" "I've always been curious." Yin Huang Ancestor couldn't hear everything Long Fei said. Long Fei laughed and said, "This is a secret." Ha! He said that Ling Er would become a powerful warrior, an expert capable of summoning a giant bear, an expert who can knock a person out, a person who can reverse the situation. The ancestor was startled. "You brat, don't you have level 1 immortal root S? You are now at the 5th level of the nascent immortal stage and confused with level 1 immortal root, allowing you to gain quite a bit of power." Haha, I forgot to tell you. I gave that immortal foundation to Linger. Long Fei laughed. The forefather was cultivating behind closed doors, so he didn't know. He checked to make sure the space ring was gone and immediately said, "You brat, you are in need of the level 1 immortal root right now. Why are you giving it to that little kid? She doesn't need it yet. Moreover, that's only a fire immortal root. Didn't you say that you want the 5 elements immortal root?" The forefather didn't quite understand. Actually, it really was because that immortal foundation was of the fire attribute that he left it for Linger, although he didn't know if he could help Linger. However, that was all he could do. What if Linger really turned into a little flame girl? That would be a huge issue in the future. Ha ha ha. Hearing the ancestor's rebuke, Long Fei laughed out loud. Using a fire elemental immortal root to create a leveled lowly, Long Fei felt that he had struck the jackpot. "Sigh, you little brat." Yin Huang Ancestor shook his head and laughed. "I really can't understand you anymore. Where are you going now?" Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "There are still 3 months until the God Emperor Academy's entrance exam. Senior E told me to definitely join the God Emperor Academy. I must complete it. Also, Gu Wuji definitely would not have thought that I actually dared to enter the God Emperor Academy under his nose. I plan to go to God Emperor City." The Yin Huang Ancestor became excited and said, "Haha, God Emperor City is a place where the experts of the immortal domain and even the experts of Sky Martial Continent gather. It must be amazing. It seems like my good days are coming." Yin Huang Ancestor finally understood. The more strong warriors there were, the better his life would be, because Long Fei would destroy them one by one. It was just that. Long Fei thought of a very serious question. "Ancestor, do you know the way?" "I don't know the way. Where is the God Emperor Academy?" Yin Huang Ancestor was surprised for a moment, and then cursed. "You don't even know him. How could I know him? What a tragedy." When Long Fei thought about how he almost lost his way when he tried to save Lu Luoshi last time, his scalp felt numb. He could also be considered an idiot, as there were many situations where he got lost while walking. 10 days later, the more Long Fei walked, the more he felt that something was off, because he had entered into a mountain forest. There was no way out in front of him. Equals semi/floating life plus. When a car arrives at the mountain, there will be a road. Where's the road? F***CK. Long Fei cursed. It was also at this time. A voice came from the forest. Help. Chapter 28_8419/2356885. A cry for help sounded out. A cry for help sounded out. Sister. This was Long Fei's first reaction. The second reaction was retreat. When he was outside, he would meddle less in other people's business. Moreover, he was not in the mood to meddle in other people's business. Even his scalp was numb, and he did not know how to get out of this forest. However, before he could react, a carriage rushed down the hill. Out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! A coachman sat on the horse carriage. The coachman was a woman, and seeing Long Fei stunned and still on the spot, she shouted, I told you to get out of the way. When the car arrives at the mountain, there will be a path. Damn, there are cars everywhere. Long Fei sighed. His reaction was not slow. Upon seeing the horse carriage rushing down, he immediately ran, especially running the S-shaped route, in this way making it safer. But wherever Long Fei ran to, the carriage would rush towards that direction. It was just like tracking a target. The coachman shouted, Are you stupid? I told you to get out of the way. Are you deaf? Long Fei. Damn you. Long Fei cursed in his heart. Am I stupid? I think you're the fool. Immediately, Long Fei said, Since you want to follow me, then I'll go up the tree. He stepped on a tree branch and leaped up. He stood on the tree trunk and said, Are you safe now? However, he was not finished. The wheels of the carriage hit a large rock, and the horse suddenly came to a screeching halt. The carriage behind the horse flipped in the air and flew away. The coachman and an unconscious woman flew out of the carriage. It was like a cannonball that had locked onto Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes darkened. Fuck, who did I offend? Whoosh, whoosh. Two voices crashed in his body. The coachman girl shouted loudly as she hugged Long Fei's waist and pulled him. Long Fei used his strength to hold the unconscious woman in his arms. Just as he hugged her, the strange fragrance from the woman's body rushed into his nose. It was a very special smell. At this moment, because the horsekeeper girl's momentum was too strong, she could not hold it in anymore and pulled Long Fei's pants down with a chi-la sound. She slightly raised her eyes. Her face immediately flushed red and said, Stupid rogue. F***CK. You're the hoodlum, right? You took off my pants the first time we met. I've never seen a female hoodlum like you before. Can you still show some face? Long Fei also scolded. Luckily, I was wearing my underwear. If I didn't, wouldn't I have been seen naked? That would be too much of a loss. The coachman's face was flushed as he said, You are the one who is shameless. You are the scoundrel. You. At this moment, Long Fei bellowed, One more word. If you say another word, believe it or not, I will take off my underwear. I will be a hooligan today. You. The coachman girl was so angry that her teeth itched, and she did not even look at this shameless person. Her two eyes did not dare look up, afraid that Long Fei would take off her last pair of pants. Seeing that she was afraid, Long Fei started to tease again and said, I suddenly want to pee. I can't hold it in anymore. What do I do? The horsekeeper girl's anger surged. Smoke was coming out from her head. She wanted to tear Long Fei into 1,000 pieces and said solemnly, You scoundrel, you dare. Long Fei said, Why would I not dare? You control heaven and earth. You can still pee on me. Don't worry. As long as you don't move, I won't wet myself on you. However, you can't just peek at it. It will only look bad if it was born with a needle. The coachman was angry and said, If you're going to pee, I will cut it. If you have the guts, then pee. F***CK. You still dare to threaten me? Long Fei was immediately angered and immediately took off his pants. The horsekeeper girl panicked hearing the rustling sound above her and immediately said, Brother, I was wrong, all right? Now you know how to apologize? I'm telling you, it's too late. Long Fei didn't bite at all. Another wave of shushing sounds came out of his mouth, followed by the sound of him taking off his pants. The coachman's face was livid as he said, "What do you want in the end?" Long Fei said, "How is it? It's simple. If you say I'm a female rogue 3 times, I'll let you go." You're the scoundrel." The coachman girl gave a fierce shout. Long Fei bellowed, "Are you going to say it or not?" The coachman girl could not beat Long Fei at all, and thought to herself, "I'll promise you this first. I'll take care of you when I get down from the stage. I'll beat up you number 2 and see if you're still acting so arrogantly." "Finished." The coachman replied, "I'm a female rogue. I'm a female rogue. I'm a female rogue." Long Fei said, "Did you lose to a mosquito? The sound of the mosquitoes is also louder than yours. Don't push your luck." The coachman girl was even more enraged. Long Fei said, "So what if I'm fine? If you have the guts, come bite me. If you dare to speak in such a soft voice, I'll piss on your head." If he had spoken properly, none of this would have happened. Why did she take off his pants and call him a hooligan? Are there any laws? Today, he had to deal with this female hooligan. The coachman girl was about to go crazy and said crazily, "I'm a female hoodlum. I'm a female hoodlum. I'm a female hoodlum." All right, it was loud. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly shouted, "Someone come quickly. There's a woman here who is playing a hooligan. She is playing a hooligan. Even my pants are being ripped off. Everyone come and take a look." The coachman girl instantly wanted to die. Completely fooled by Long Fei, he scolded Long Fei 10,000 times in his heart and said, "You despicable, shameless bastard, today I will definitely tear you into 10,000 pieces." Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest. He said, Come on. Don't even mention dismembering thousands of corpses if you have the guts. Raise your head and look, even my pants are off." The coachman girl shook her head, not wanting to hear about it. She had never thought that there would be such a wretched and shameless person in this world that would use their pants to threaten her. The anger in her heart could only roast Long Fei. He was so angry that his entire body was trembling. "What do you want? Are you also an assassin sent by the Mu family?" The coachman girl's eyes turned vicious as she lowered her head to look at the ground, just as she was about to bite the bullet and jump down. A sound came from the forest. "This is the area. I heard their voices just now. Search carefully. Today, you must kill her. You absolutely cannot let her return to the medicine order. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir." A dozen or so men dressed in black clothing came down from the hillside in a search. Equals semi/floating life plus. The horsekeeper girl immediately gave up jumping down. Her mind tightened as she said, "Don't speak." Long Fei became complacent and said, "You're telling me not to speak, so don't speak? Who do you think you are, and why do I have to say it?" The horsekeeper girl was so anxious that beads of sweat dripped from her forehead as she asked, "What do you want in the end?" Long Fei looked down, and coincidentally he saw the coachman girl's collar from above. There was a deep and bottomless crevice. Chapter 38_8419/2356887. Very big, very tall, very fierce. Very big, very tall, very fierce. The woman's sixth sense could not be explained using science. Seeing that Long Fei did not make a sound, the horsekeeper girl could not help but raise her head and look, just in time to see the look in Long Fei's eyes as he stared into the depths of her collar. It was a gaze like a wolf's. The coachman girl was so angry that she trembled. With her left hand, she grabbed the collar of her coat tightly. He suddenly lost his focus. Slash! Long Fei's pants were half pulled. The coachman girl held onto her pants as she hung in the air. She lowered her voice and cursed. "Stinking hooligan!" It was also at this time. A voice sounded from not too far away. "What sound is that? It's right in front. Elder, the carriage is up ahead." Suddenly, all of the black-clothed men rushed forward. An old man shouted, "It's right around here. Those 2 weak girls won't be able to escape far. Search carefully. The Holy Maiden of the Medicine Valley is a natural genius in alchemy. She has a unique kind of power this kind of power. It could make a dead tree meet its spring, raise the quality of spirit grass, increase the quality of medicinal pellets. This is the power that our Mu family needs the most. The old man was very excited. As long as we capture her and extract her unique immortal foundation, our Mu clan will become the #1 clan in Immortal Domain. At that time, what is a mere medicine valley worth? Ha ha! Little girl, stop hiding. You won't be able to escape. Search this place thoroughly, and don't miss a single spot. Whoever finds him first will be rewarded with 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. The old man said. Everyone was delighted and immediately became excited. After Long Fei heard the old man's words, he thought to himself, so this woman actually has a special alchemy and immortal foundation. No wonder her body was emitting a strange fragrance all this time. It seems like the immortal foundation she fused with is some kind of spirit grass. Immortal foundation was divided into many parts. The most common type of immortal roots were the fairy beasts bred by heaven and earth. They had immortal roots in their bodies. Furthermore, the immortal spirit grass, the spirit grass immortal roots were 100 times rarer than the fairy beasts. In terms of fighting ability, the spirit grass immortal roots might not be as good as the fairy beasts immortal roots. But in terms of overall value, the spirit grass immortal roots were much more rarer than the fairy beasts immortal roots. The god's soul herb that Long Fei had fused with was the spirit grass immortal root. The benefits of it were enormous. Alchemy, artifact forging, inscriptions, perception of spirit grass. It required a very strong level of improvement in all aspects. His consciousness also expanded by 3 times. The woman in Long Fei's embrace also had a fused spirit grass immortal foundation, but she had fused with the spirit grass specifically for the purpose of using alchemy. So, she was very strong. She was also known as the Holy Maiden of the Medicine Valley. Huff! Long Fei let out a long sigh. At this moment, pow pow pow, Long Fei's trousers were about to be torn apart, and the horsekeeper girl was also sinking. Long Fei said in a low voice, "How heavy are you? I spent several taels of silver to make this new set of clothes, you fatty." The coachman girl fumed as she said, "You're the fatty. How'd I get fat?" It was a taboo to say that a woman was fat, especially if she wasn't fat. Long Fei stared at the horsekeeper girl's big chest. Just those 2 balls are more than 10 kilograms. If it was in my world, there's only one word to describe it. Tisk. The coachman was indeed big, and he had always troubled her, but when he said it out loud, it was still said by a man. This made her very unhappy. His body moved. Slash! The sides of his pants, which had carried the last of his weight, had also shattered. Long Fei muttered, "It's over. My pants bought with a few taels of silver are completely finished." It was also at this time. Plop! The horsekeeper young girl sank into the ground. The surrounding assassins immediately locked their cold gazes on her and sneered at the elder. "You've finally appeared. Where is your young miss?" The horsekeeper girl clenched her fist. His neck shook. Cluck, cluck, cluck. His entire joints were popping. The coachman girl stared at the surrounding black-clothed assassins and said, "You Mu clan bastards, you think you can capture my young miss? All of you come and die." Buzz! Both of her fists shook as a stream of supreme force burst out from her body. Very special, Long Fei thought. Seems like this big sister Xiong Quan still has some strength. The power in her body is very special. He had to say it. The power that burst out from the coachman girl's body was very strong. She had a kind of inborn divine power, similar to Li Yuanba. Mu Feng laughed coldly and said, "The power of a first-rank violent immortal root is not bad, but, little girl, your cultivation is too weak. It is just a holy 6th rank. You cannot unleash the power of the violent immortal root. I advise you to obediently give your young miss less pain. If not, otherwise, damn you." The coachman girl suddenly moved. The immortal foundation power from her body burst out, and she stomped on a rock, turning it into dust. He moved. Voila! Pure power tore through the air. A series of sonic booms rang out. Mu Feng's eyes darkened and shouted, "Since you don't want face, then go and kill me." The dozen men swiftly made their moves. They surrounded and attacked. The coachman girl was not afraid, as her body was constantly being crushed. The supreme force on her fists was able to block the sword and saber, and she was completely unable to injure him at all. Long Fei sighed in his heart, "What a strong violence." The dozen or so assassins were all suppressed by her. Is this the power of an immortal foundation? Violent immortal root. Violent lowly. Long Fei was secretly shocked. Seems like immortal foundation is truly very important to warriors. A single immortal foundation can change a person's fate. The coachman girl was very violent. Long Fei hid in the dense leaves and watched quietly. At this moment, the girl in his embrace opened her eyes weakly and said weakly, "Shouting is not their match. Can you help him?" Long Fei looked at her weak expression and said, "Even she is not his opponent. I am even more so. I am only a 5th grade immortal, and I don't have a blend of fairy vein." The girl was naturally aware of Long Fei's cultivation level, but she naturally had a way. "I have a pellet in my bosom. If this pellet were to come into contact with Mu Feng's skin, his cultivation would be sealed for a short period of time, and that's your chance." Seal off his cultivation? This pill. Long Fei tensed up, but still shook his head. "No, it's too dangerous. I can't even block one of his attacks." A faint yellow exclamation mark was floating above the girl's head. What is this? Mission. Without the system's prompt, Long Fei would not easily agree to her request. "Please. Sister-in-law, 1 / plus health, strongest upgrade system. Help me. I will repay you. The Mu family is too strong. If I die here today, the Medicine Valley will probably be destroyed. I beg you. I will agree to anything you want." The woman was incomparably weak. It was also at this time. The system sounded out. Ding! Chapter 48_8419/2356888. It was not that Long Fei did not want to help, but it was because time was not up yet. It was not that Long Fei did not want to help, but it was because time was not up yet. The system beep rang. Long Fei was overjoyed in his heart. It's done. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Save the Medicine Valley Saint's quest. Mission level, task reward. 80,000 experience points, 500 power Celestial S, 1,000 points, Spirit Powder 1. Do you accept? Accept. Long Fei immediately accepted it in his heart, and then said to the lady, "Do you promise me everything?" The woman said, "As long as you save me, I'll promise you anything." If that's the case. Long Fei reached his hand into the woman's bosom like a loach and began to pinch, and search. After a while, he found a small porcelain bottle and asked, "Is this the pill?" The woman's face turned red as she nodded. "Yes." Long Fei said, "When I came across this little pill, my cultivation was not sealed, right?" The woman said, "No, this is specially made for the Mu clan. Their physiques are wood, so it only has an effect on them." Actually, it was also because the development of this pill that made it difficult for the Mu clan to sleep and eat. The strength of the Medicine Valley was here, and if this pill were to be released, the Mu clan would become a trash clan that anyone could crush. Long Fei smiled, leaned her against the tree, and smiled. "It's fine if you want to repay me, but when the time comes, just find someone to take me to God Emperor Academy." He needed a guide. Otherwise, he didn't know how long he would have been lost. As for the woman's words that "I'll promise you anything," which were filled with enticement, it was true that it moved one's heart. However, Long Fei wasn't the type of person who wouldn't be able to walk easily when he saw a beauty. The woman was stunned. She thought that Long Fei would make that request, and when his hands were grabbing around her chest, she was even more sure that Long Fei would make that condition. Now that she heard it, her heart jolted. Her heart was cold as she said, "You can live for a few more days." Everyone knew that a world-shocking genius had appeared in the Medicine Valley, an alchemy genius. However, no one knew. The pills she refined were all poison pills. Poison pills were her true strength. A bunch of trash. Mu Feng snorted and said, "A dozen people can't even defeat a maid in such a long time. I really don't know what use the Mu family has for raising you all these years." Although she didn't injure Xiaoying, she was already exhausted. It was at this moment. Mu Feng's figure suddenly disappeared. Whoosh! In a split second, Mu Feng's fists moved, carrying a wave of decaying power that smashed onto Xiao Ying's abdomen. Bam! Sneak attack. Xiaoying never thought that the dignified Mu family elder would be so despicable. His body caved in, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He too was sent flying out, crashing into a large tree. Bang! Xiao Ying's face was extremely pale. He stared straight at Mu Feng and said, "Despicable." Humph! Mu Feng coldly snorted and said, "What's despicable? This is just an excuse the weak use to cover their weakness." While they were talking, Mu Feng slowly walked forward until he was in front of Xiaoying, coldly laughed. "Now, you can tell me where your young miss is, right?" Xiaoying was severely injured, but her fiery temper did not weaken in the slightest, and she said, "Even if I knew, I would not have told you." Mu Feng's face was sprayed with blood. His eyes became angry, and he immediately shouted, "You're courting death." Zhang Xian moved his palm. A power of celestial was released from his palm. The power of celestial expanded, and all of the plants beneath his feet withered rapidly. This was the power of rotten wood that even the Mu family possessed. A mere level 1 immortal root dares to act rashly in front of me. I'll give you one more chance. Tell me. The power of the rotten wood in Mu Feng's hands moved faintly, continuously pushing at Xiaoying. Xiaoying remained as strong as before. "If you have the guts, then kill me. Dream on." Mu Feng's eyes turned cold and said, "You won't say, right? Do you think I can't find it? She is close by, and I can smell the scent of her body, so this must be the legendary spirit grass immortal root, right? Ha ha ha! Go to hell." Mu Feng smashed down with his palm. It was at this moment. Long Fei descended down and said, "For a grown man to bully a little girl, that isn't good, right? Although she has a big chest, bad temper, and likes to act like a hooligan, it still isn't a place for you to bully her, is it?" Mu Feng suddenly stopped. The corners of his eyes twitched, and he said, "Another one came to throw away his life." His figure moved. With a step towards Xiang Longfei, he instantly appeared by Long Fei's side. "You like to stick out your head, right? Then die first." A palm shot out. A powerful pressure pressed down on him, but the pressure created by Mu Feng's cultivation was not enough to suppress Long Fei, because his sea of consciousness had expanded by 3 times from before. The difference between their realms was too great. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the pressure to crush him. Long Fei did not retreat. He grabbed with his right hand, and the dragon salure landed in his hand. He became angry. Gravity knife, the power of a paragon. Kill! The blade came crashing down. Mu Feng blocked it with a palm. Boom! Long Fei retreated with an explosive speed. His face was pale white, and blood chi tumbled out of his chest from the impact. What a strong power! Mu Feng also retreated a few steps. Each step was like a deep footprint. This power. Gravity? Humph. Interesting. However, I will definitely take your life with this palm. The center of Mu Feng's brows sank. To be forced several steps back by a 5th-stage immortal, this was the greatest humiliation to him. Mu Feng pressed one hand against the towering tree. Whoosh whoosh, asterisk the towering tree was withering rapidly, and a powerful force was constantly being sucked into Mu Feng's palm. Zhang Xian moved his palm. Buzz! Mu Feng's strength and speed were all increased, both palms striking at the same time, giving Long Fei no time to react. Bam! Too fast. Long Fei simply could not react. This was the difference in realms. However, from the moment he appeared, he had made all his preparations. He used his strength to protect his mind and forcefully withstood the palm strike. His entire body split apart as a huge wood attribute energy grew in his body. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. Mu Feng laughed complacently. Lame duck, you think you can save a beauty like that? It's more like seeking death. Long Fei took out a medicinal pellet from his chest pocket and said, I'll let you experience the power of a spiritual bursting pellet. Spiritual bursting pill. Mu Feng's face tensed up. The expressions of the surrounding assassins tensed up. Even Xiao Ying tensed up. Is the immortal bursting pill that amazing? Long Fei only said it casually because this name was a little domineering. Long Fei poured out a medicinal pellet and was about to swallow it when at this moment, Mu Feng moved, moving as fast as lightning, and snatched the spiritual bursting pellet from Long Fei's hands as he laughed excitedly. Ha! The immortal bursting pill is mine now. He got it after he got it. Long Fei laughed sinisterly, picking up the dragon salyer on the ground. Really? Equals half carat float hashtag life carat haha. You were the one who made that move just now. Now it's my turn. Chapter 5. Thanks for everyone's support. The book that recommended his brother's book, Supreme Divine, was currently on the rankings. Everyone could help download it, and thank the great C. 8_8419/2356889. Long Fei moved while carrying the dragon salyer on his shoulder and walked towards Mu Feng in large strides. Long Fei moved while carrying the dragon salyer on his shoulder and walked towards Mu Feng in large strides. Mu Feng looked at Long Fei with disdain and said, You think you, a trash in the elementary level, can touch me? I even took the immortal bursting pill. How can you touch me? Humph! He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. At this moment, Long Fei was startled and stopped in his tracks, then laughed. Open your palm and look, the immortal burst pill is in your hand. Mu Feng's gaze tightened as he opened his palm. The complacent smile on his face instantly stiffened, and there was no spirit-bursting pill in his hand. Moreover, his palm was a mass of black, and black lines extended out as if poisoned. Mu Feng's expression changed, and he said, You dog, what exactly is that pellet of yours? Long Fei laughed. Guess. Humph, I'm guessing your ancestor. You think that I can't deal with this poison? Then you must have underestimated the Mu clan's ability. Mu Feng was not afraid at all. He was able to absorb the energy from the towering tree, and similarly, he was able to release the poison from his body. His figure moved. Mu Feng landed on top of a large tree and stuck his palm. Release. It was also at this moment. The girl on top of the tree shouted, This is the moment. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, his heart becoming gloomy. Damn, I was almost tricked. This woman is such a schemer. Mu Feng's face changed. The moment he released the poison from his palm, he absorbed the wood attribute from the tree, causing a strong backlash that sealed off all the power in his body. This is the spirit powder? This is the damned spirit powder. Ah! Mu Feng howled out wildly, but it was completely impossible. All the power in his body was sealed, and he couldn't release a single bit of the power of Celestial. Long Fei's eyes and hands were sharp. If he did not make a move now, he would not have the chance. Carrying the dragon's salyer, he rushed forward, arrogant. Go to hell and continue being arrogant. Long Fei slashed down. Crack! Mu Feng was an expert of the spiritual level. Just the defense of the second-level fairy route was strong enough, but he was completely locked up. He had no power to resist at all. Mu Feng let out a miserable scream as his chest was sliced open. Blood gushed out wildly as he continuously retreated, pointing at Long Fei as he said, You wait to die. Plop! He fell to the ground dead. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Mu Feng for obtaining 300 experience, 50 power of Celestial, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the second-level fairy route wood. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 100-year-old divine wood heart. What? Long Fei's mind suddenly tensed up. 100 years old divine wood heart. Patriarch Yin Huang ancestor also saw an additional item among the space ring and said, Divine wood heart. This is an item to raise the level of dragon salyer, but this divine wood heart is unable to withstand the powerful strength of Dragon Salyer. It's too young. 100 years isn't enough. I have to get the heart of ancient fairy tree. Yin Huang ancestor warned. At this moment, the lady on the tree jumped down, stared at Long Fei, and said, "Kill them all." Huh? Long Fei looked at those gazes that were incomparably shocked. Their eyes were filled with fear, as they simply did not know how Long Fei had managed to kill Mu Feng. The spiritual level's elder had been cut to death like a knife cutting vegetables. What was going on? The woman said in a cold tone. "Didn't you hear me tell you to kill them?" Long Fei's gaze turned and stared at the cold lady. "Why should I kill them?" He wanted to kill. After all, these assassins only had experience for him. So how could he let go of their power of celestial value? However, he couldn't stand the woman's tone. He acted as if he was her slave, which made him very unhappy. The girl's gaze turned cold as she said, "If you don't kill him, then I'll kill you." "Oh, has your wings hardened? You want to kill me?" Long Fei sneered and said, Come, let's see you kill him." The woman's gaze darkened as she said, "You were poisoned the moment you caught me. If you had listened to my command, your entire body would have festered and died." Long Fei asked, "Who are you trying to scare?" At the same time, Long Fei turned to the ancestor in his heart and asked, "Ancestor, what's the situation? Am I poisoned?" Yin Huang ancestor laughed and said, "My alchemy may not be that great, but I'm an expert in refining poisons, so even a few old poisons in Chaos Realm are not as good as me. You were indeed poisoned just now, but this kind of poison is nothing to me, not even Mao Yu. However, Brat, this woman is an expert at using poison. You should be careful." The woman did not know that the poison in Long Fei's body had already been dispelled, and she said with a cold smile, "If you don't believe me, you should check if there's a black dot on your chest." Long Fei was very cooperative and did as he was told. He then displayed the acting skills of a movie empress as he said in panic, "There's really a black spot. You, quickly give me the antidote." The girl smiled proudly. "If you want the antidote, that's fine. First, kill all of these Mu family's assassins. I will give you the antidote." At least Long Fei still couldn't die yet. She still needed Long Fei to send her back to the Medicine Valley, and also, she was poisoned too. The poison that she was unable to dispel had to be returned to the Medicine Valley. "Hurry up. Didn't you hear what I said? If you don't do anything, you'll die." Not waiting for her to finish, Long Fei moved a step, instantly appearing by the woman's side, and slapped her with the back of his hand. "Who the F***CK do you think you are? Order your father? You are not qualified." The woman's cold and complacent look made Long Fei extremely unhappy. "Pride? Now take a look. I saved you. You don't know how to feel grateful, but you became even more grateful. Who do you think you are?" "Huh." The slap was extremely resounding. The woman was seeing stars, and blood hung from the corner of her mouth. Furthermore, she had a stupefied expression on her face, completely prepared for anything. Even more so, he didn't think that Long Fei would dare hit her. She was the one who held Long Fei's fate in her hands. "Still calling?" Long Fei said angrily, "This is my second time hitting a woman. The first reason is because it's cheap. You think too much of yourself, do you understand? Some women are lacking in discipline." The lady's forehead was a bit messy. She slowly turned her head and stared at Long Fei and said, You dare hit me? Do you know who I am? Equals semi/floating life plus. If you dare hit me, I'll see who you are." Pa! Without waiting for her to finish speaking, she slapped him again. Long Fei shouted, "So what if I hit you? The one I hit is you." Chapter 18_8419/2356890. It's fine if I don't know how to thank you for saving me. It's fine if I don't know how to thank you for saving me. Who wouldn't be angry? So what if she was a woman? Women have special privileges? Long Fei was very unhappy. The assassins of the Mu family were stunned, but in their eyes, there was an incomparable amount of worship for Long Fei, because Long Fei dared to hit a woman that they did not even dare to look at. Holy maiden of the drug race, man to all you owe. These incomparably enchanting flowers were also incomparably evil flowers. They made people drool, yet they didn't dare to approach them. The coachman was also stunned. Her large eyes stared straight at Long Fei without blinking, and muttered, "He was poisoned and he still dared to hit miss? He doesn't want to live?" Man Toaluo stared at Long Fei, her eyes filled with a cold, killing intent. Since she was young, no one had dared to hit her, and none of the people who hit her had a good ending. Because of this, she was also known as the Bane of Drug Race. Man Toaluo said coldly, "Since you want to die, then I'll send you to hell. I'll give you one more chance. Kill them, or I'll kill you." Long Fei was calm and composed and said, "I am a reasonable person. If you earnestly beg me, I might help you get rid of them. But you look like a dead father and mother. What do you think I am? Be your family's slave? You want to kill me? Come. Let's kill them and have a look." Man Toaluo glared and threw caution to the wind. "Die." As soon as he finished, the tiny power of Celestial exploded, activating the poison in Long Fei's chest. However, Long Fei acted like he was in pain and said, "It's so painful. I'm going to die. It feels so bad. My liver, it hurts." It was also at this time. Suddenly, one of the assassins shouted, "Do it now." Long Fei was poisoned and was about to die. The coachman girl, being crippled, was already unable to obstruct them. Right now, there was only a man Toaluo in the immortal realm, and he was also an injured man Toaluo. Wealth comes from danger. Evil arose from the edge of courage. One of Mu Feng's elders died, and there just happened to be a vacancy in his position. Whoever could bring man Toaluo back to the Mu family would be able to replace him. Kill. They all knew in their hearts that this was an excellent opportunity, and that they would take the risk to try even when facing man Toaluo, who was as evil as a lone star. "Miss, be careful," Xiaoling shouted loudly. At this time, she was too far away from man Toaluo to save her. Man Toaluo's face darkened as well. He hated Long Fei to the extreme and said, "Look, I told you to kill them, but you didn't kill them. Now it's their turn to kill you. There is nothing good in the Mu clan." Man Toaluo was furious after being slapped twice by Long Fei, but she was even angrier that Long Fei did not attack the assassins. "Humph. Man Toaluo, you're not a good person either. The drug race despised you, and you were even abandoned by the Mu family. What do you think you are? Stop bullshitting with him. Let's cripple her first. It's such a pity to cripple such a beautiful woman. If you can let me feel refreshed." "Haha. Wooden barrel, do you want to die? How dare you touch such a woman? How dare you touch it? However, I don't dare to touch her when I'm alive. But if she's dead, she can't possibly use any evil arts, right? You want to? Can't I? Count me in. I want to feel good too. Ah." It quickly surrounded Man Toaluo. Man Toaluo did not appear to be panicking, but instead went out and calmed himself down. He said with a cold gaze, "Aren't you, the trash of the Mu family, afraid of my spirit powder? Ha! So what if you have a spirit powder? Can you poison us all in an instant? Can't be. Brothers, don't be afraid. She is already at the end of her tether." At this moment, Long Fei shouted loudly, "I'm dead." With that, he fell to the ground. A member of the Mu family laughed in disdain. "You were quite arrogant just now, but now it seems like you are just a brainless trash. You are still trying to take the poison head on. Isn't that just courting death? Don't worry about this piece of trash. Let's attack together. Kill." No one paid attention to Long Fei, because even now, people who had been poisoned by Man Toaluo were still unable to stand up, so they quickly circled around Long Fei and rushed at him. Man Toaluo's forehead dripped with cold sweat. Although he looked calm on the surface, he was actually very afraid in his heart. Her alchemy had already reached a high level in poison refinement. However, her cultivation was only in the immortal realm. She was not a match for more than 10 assassins. Her heart turned cold, and she muttered to herself, "Am I, Man Toaluo, going to die here? Am I going to die in a place like this? I can't accept this. I can't accept this. I haven't made the drug race tremble. I haven't made those stubborn old fellows kneel down and apologize. I can't accept this. He was screaming in his heart. She had too many things she wanted to do. She wanted to borrow the Mu family's power to rise again. She didn't even hesitate to agree to the Mu family's young master's engagement. However, when she refined a pill that could seal the Mu clan's disciples, the Mu clan instantly changed and assassinated her that night. After leading a female servant who was beside a mother to flee for 3 days and 3 nights, just now, after killing Mu Feng, she thought that she could escape to the sky, but she hadn't thought it would be like what she had planned. Long Fei was completely out of control. With that, she had nothing to rely on anymore. There were no poison pills, no antidote pills. Xiao Ying was seriously injured. Long Fei had died. She herself had been poisoned. Everything was gone. Her heart was filled with despair. Completely despaired. Ah! Man, Tuoyuo raised his head and loudly shouted, "Heavens, why did you treat me like this? Why? Daddy, save me. I don't want to die yet." Man Tuoyuo's eyes became moist and tears started to roll down her cheeks. She slowly closed her eyes and gave up. The moment he closed his eyes, Long Fei quietly stood up, carrying the dragon salyer on his shoulder, and stood behind a Mu family killer. Xiaoying looked at Long Fei with his mouth agape, excited to the point that tears were about to flow out. Long Fei silenced her, and then Long Fei moved and slashed his blade. A sinister disciple. How cocky! Crack! As the knife landed, his head flew and blood spurted out. The entire scene was a bloody mess. The Mu clan killer reacted, but at this time, Long Fei had already used his blade consecutively, causing the 4 killers to fall to the ground, and the system beep-s to sound out continuously. Die! Die! Experience points? It would be good if it could pass. Moreover, if the Mu family members had left just now, nothing would have happened. However, they were actually cocky in front of Long Fei, so he naturally would not let them off. Less than half a minute. Long Fei's continuous slashes had caught them off guard. If it was in a direct confrontation, they would definitely not be his match. But if it was a sneak attack, in addition to the deterrent power formed from Long Fei killing them, all of them would be crushed to the point that they did not dare to resist. Man Tuoyuo opened his eyes and looked at Long Fei, shocked. "You didn't die?" Long Fei said. "Are you disappointed that I didn't die?" Chapter 28_8419/2356891. Long Fei retrieved the dragon salyer and carried it on his sword once again. Looking at the shocked man Tuoyuo, he said, "It seems that you are very disappointed that I'm not dead." Long Fei retrieved the dragon salyer and carried it on his sword once again. Looking at the shocked man Tuoyuo, he said, "It seems that you are very disappointed that I'm not dead." In that instant, man Tuoyuo suddenly moved, took a step forward, and threw himself into Long Fei's embrace. That feeling, in an instant, the crowd burst into an uproar. Moreover, the worst part was that Long Fei's lower body only had underwear left. His long pants had been ripped off by the female rogue Xiaoying. So, his great desolation power burst out, fierce and mighty. Woo woo woo, woo woo woo. Man Tuoyuo instantly collapsed. Like a dam releasing water, he laid on Long Fei's shoulder and started to wail. Even when she was crying, she was still biting on Long Fei's shoulder. "Pain, pain. If you're going to cry, then just cry. What is it that you're going to bite me?" Long Fei grimaced in pain. He could not understand what she meant. Initially, he was still arrogant and despotic. Order Long Fei acted like he was commanding the servants at his side. He had received 2 slaps from Long Fei, and now he was actually crying on his shoulder. Man Tuoyuo was not young at all. She was at least 25 years old, a mature woman. She was like a beautiful sister, but when she cried, she looked like a little girl. In addition, she acted like a spoiled child, saying, "So what if I bite? It won't kill me if I bite you. You bastard, you bastard." Her little pink fist smashed in a Long Fei's back. F***CK. Long Fei said, "You have never been bitten before. Don't you know that it hurts? It's even more painful than being bitten by a dog when you were a kid." "Woo woo, you're the dog. Man Tualuo muttered again as the special fragrance from her body continuously rushed into Long Fei's nose. Long Fei's entire body was scorching hot, as though he was going to spurt out blood. This won't do. What did Man Tualuo feel? Right. Hurry up and leave. Otherwise I'll shoot you to death. Long Fei also took the opportunity to push Man Tualuo away from his shoulders. It was really impossible to continue like this. Moreover, Yin Huang ancestor kept reminding her, this woman is fusing with a type of poison spirit root. That's not right. This woman's body seems to be born with a poison spirit root. The more qi she absorbs, the hotter you will become. This is a type of aphrodisiac poison that is beyond her control. F***CK. Ancestor, say it earlier. Will this aphrodisiac poison make me impotent? Long Fei retreated a few steps back, maintaining a safe distance between him and Man Tualuo. Yin Huang ancestor replied, that's not necessarily the case, but it's best if you don't get too close to her with your current cultivation. It's easier to be impulsive. Is there no solution? Long Fei asked. Yin Huang ancestor replied, yes, enter her body and use your heavenly soul immortal root to deeply communicate with her. Use your immortal root to suppress her immortal foundation, and that will solve the problem. If we were to have a profound exchange, how deep would it be? Long Fei's eyes could not help but reveal a wretched and lewd smile. Yin Huang ancestor smiled and said, brat, you understand? Ha. Long Fei laughed slyly. I like the Onizen type, and the lowly type are all my favorites. However, he did not realize that Man Tualuo's eyes were filled with killing intent. Man Tualuo said coldly, if you dare have the slightest dirty thoughts, I'll make sure you never raise your head again. Long Fei reacted and immediately replied, I'm a pure person. How could I have dirty thoughts? Man Tualuo stared into Long Fei's eyes and said, do you dare to say that you're pure? Long Fei lowered his head in disdain. He said he wanted to pee. Is that not okay? Finished. He walked behind a big tree and finished it off quickly. Then he muttered to himself, we have a profound exchange. Could it be that my virgin son's spring is coming? Ha. Long Fei lewdly smiled. Xiao Ying and Man Tualuo stared at the big tree and said at the same time, rascal. Long Fei took out a pair of pants from the space ring and put on before walking out. At this moment, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Save the Medicine Valley Holy Maiden quest. You have received 80,000 points, 500 points of power of Celestial, 100 points, and 1 spirit powder. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest Protect the Holy Maiden of the Medicine Valley and returning to the drug race. Mission level C. Task reward 10,000 points, 100 points, power of Celestial 100 points. Special reward affability level plus 50 points. After the system beep landed, Long Fei was startled. A chain of missions. Automatic touch. It must be a continuous quest. Moreover, when Long Fei saw the special reward for the mission, his entire person was stunned. Affability level plus 50 points. A state where one can do as he pleases with an affability level of 90 points, then isn't deep communication. Wait. Long Fei remembered that when he completed a quest in the Southern Sky region, as long as it was a woman, he would have 1 point of affability level. And then, Long Fei immediately checked Man Tualuo's affability level, 1 point. F***CK. It feels like I saved him for nothing. Long Fei disdained in his heart. Actually, he did not know that before he could save her, the affability level had reached 100. No rush. I have plenty of time, Long Fei muttered in his heart. After calculating the time, there should still be 4 more months left in God Emperor Academy, so it should be more than enough. Moreover, even if Long Fei wanted to go to the God Emperor Academy now, he couldn't go if he wanted to, because he didn't know the way at all. Man Tualuo looked at Long Fei and said, we are all injured. Can you send us to learn the drug race S? Long Fei faked an awkward expression and said, My time is too tight. Man Toaluo said, as long as you are willing to escort us back, I will definitely give you some benefits. You said that. Long Fei's eyes trembled. Man Toaluo said, I've said it. As long as I can do it, I will give it to you. She needed Long Fei's help. The assassins of the Mu family could catch up at any time. She had to return to the Herb Valley safely, so she really needed Long Fei's protection. Xiaoying also looked at Long Fei sincerely. Although this hooligan was a hooligan, he was still a good person. More importantly, Long Fei was really handsome. Long Fei went silent and carefully thought about it for a long time. His mind was filled with thoughts of profound communication. He was very excited as he said, since she has already said so, isn't that an obvious signal? I want your Baidu sister-in-law, AA half. Floating Life, strongest upgrade system. The third chapter was delivered. He desperately squeezed out 3 chapters. Today, the sea had become a father again. 2,000 gold coins. How joyful. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Also, as soon as possible, the sea will restore the 5 chapters and make up for the debt. 8_8419/2356892. Long Fei immediately said, I want your. Long Fei immediately said, I want your. At this moment, when he saw Man Toaluo's cold gaze, then thought of the affability level within the system, he immediately changed and said, I want the spirit powder. Can you teach me? The 2 girls were stunned. Man Toaluo's expression was also startled and revealed an unusual expression. I thought you were asking for something that was dirty. F***CK. Am I one of those vile people? I am so disappointed. I did not expect you to think of me as that kind of person. I am as pure as a flower like Xiao Bai, a proper man. You are actually... Long Fei revealed an angry expression. Man Toaluo slightly said, all right, you can consider me wrong. Long Fei said, you were wrong to begin with. What do you mean, Count? I just want the method to refine the spirit powder. The system also rewarded him with a spirit powder. This was a seal metal immortal root warrior, but they were only at the first stage of the seal spirit immortal realm. The spirit powder was very strong. To be able to kill a warrior's entire seal, this was far more powerful than his own sealing. With this pill, he would have another life-saving treasure in the future. Man Toaluo stared blankly for a moment, then laughed in disdain. Do you think that refining spirit powder is something you can learn just because you want to? That self-righteous expression again. Long Fei immediately shouted, don't mind those who don't know how to learn. Are you going to teach or not? There's more. If you dare to have that kind of arrogant expression in front of me again, I won't be polite. Long Fei warned her, and she hated this kind of expression. If there's a next time, I won't slap your face, but your butt instead. Man Toaluo's gaze tensed up, his little fart immediately becoming more obedient. Women need to be taught. Sometimes, he still needed to train with his palm. Man Toaluo's eyes moved and said, sure, I promise to teach you how to refine spirit powder, but you can teach me, but whether you can learn it or not, it's up to you whether you can refine spirit powder or not. The violent lowly Xiaoying also said, refining pills requires a talent. Refining a special pill like spirit powder requires a talent even more. No one can succeed. Long Fei laughed. I understand, besides being handsome, I am also a genius. Man Toaluo stared at Long Fei in disdain. You narcissist. A few minutes later, the 3 of them headed towards the Medicine Valley. 2 days later, in another place, Tianmu City, Mu family headquarters. In this place, the Mu clan could cover the sky with one hand. Within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers, what did you say? Mu Feng is dead? All the assassins that were sent out are dead? Mu Xiaoyao's face turned sinister. He became furious after hearing the news, and his eyes revealed a cold, killing intent. Man Toaluo. Spirit powder. If the spirit powder that she refined is controlled by another family, it would be a disaster for our Mu family. Mu Xiaoyao's heart sank. The harm done by the spirit powder was too great. If it wasn't for the fact that it was too harmful, he wouldn't have made a move against Man Toaluo. At least not now. But Patriarch, what should we do? Once Man Toluo returns to the medicinal valley, if the spirit powder is produced on a large scale, then our Mu family. An elder did not continue. In the hall, the elders of the Mu family began to discuss in hushed voices. The threat of spirit powder S was just too great. It was enough to threaten the fate of the entire clan. Mu Xiaoyao clenched both of his fists tightly and immediately said, Sky Eagle Messenger, send a message to Yaolang. Tell him to stop Man Toluo, no matter what. In addition, Mu Xiaoyao's expression shook and said, all these years, the Medicine Valley's forces were crushed by our Mu family until they couldn't even breathe. It's time to uproot it. Pass down my orders. Bring out all the elites of the Mu family. We absolutely cannot let Man Toluo have the chance to refine spirit powder. The elders stood up with excitement. And then, an elder asked, Patriarch, should we inform Mu Feng? Mu Xiaoyao said, he has already obtained the qualifications to enter God Emperor Academy, so there's no need to disturb his cultivation at this time. A mere drug race does not need him to do anything. Everyone, go back and prepare. We'll leave tomorrow. Ding! Fusion failed. A notification came from the system. The 100-year-old Divine Wood Heart could not withstand the Dragon Salyer's powerful strength and could not be merged with. I can't do it. Long Fei muttered in his heart. Ancestor, do we need to have Heart of Ancient Fairy Tree? Yan Huang, Ancestor, said, Heart of Ancient Fairy Tree are the most basic. If it has 50,000 years and 100,000 years of the Divine Wood Heart, that would be even better. From the Southern Domain to the Immortal Domain, the Dragon Salyer has always been devouring Underworld King Bloodvein, Underworld King Bloodvein, Underworld King Bloodvein, and finally, it has devoured Hong Tianjuan's vein of Ancient First Emperor as well. Its current energy is extremely great, but you're unable to completely unleash it. After the Dragon Salyer broke, all its power was gone. If it wanted to recover, then the only way was to slowly raise its level increase bit by bit. It needed to level up just like Long Fei. Moreover, Long Fei believed that as long as he raised the Dragon Salyer to the Great Perfection stage, he would definitely be able to find the secret hidden in the Long family. Heart of Ancient Fairy Tree. Long Fei muttered to himself, Mu family, what are you thinking? The Violent Lowly asked when she saw Long Fei's distracted look. Long Fei laughed and said, Nothing, I'm just thinking about how strong the patriarch of the Mu family is. What realm is your cultivation in? Xiao Ying stared blankly for a moment, then said, Why are you asking about this? The Mu clan was very strong. The current head of the Mu family was even stronger. He was the absolute overlord of this area. Long Fei replied, Nothing, I'm just asking. Inwardly, he said, I want to blow him up. If Clan Elder could reveal the 100-year-old Divine Wood Heart, then the Patriarch might be able to reveal the heart of Ancient Fairy Tree. If this were to happen, then his Dragon Salyer would be able to break through a level. Man Toluo took over the conversation and said, Mu Xiaoyao, the head of the Mu family has reached the 9th stage of the Spirit Immortal Realm. I heard that he has already obtained the 3-rate Fairy Vein and could break through it at any time. Grade 9 Immortal Spirit? Long Fei's heart sank, and he muttered to himself, Then there's no hope. Unless, use a giant demon. Based on his current cultivation level, not to mention the 9th stage of the Spirit Immortal Realm, he was not even a match for the Holy 9th rank. Suddenly, Long Fei thought of a question and asked, Is your spirit powder effective against him? It was so cool killing Mu Feng. It's like killing a dog. Man Toluo shook his head. No, with my current ability, I cannot refine the spirit powder unless I can break through again. Actually, she did not explain anything to Long Fei. She had developed a spirit powder that did not even take 10 days. He used one in the Mu clan, and he used the second one in the forest. There were only 2 of them in total, and she didn't dare say that it was a 100% success rate. In order to safely return to the Medicine Valley, she could only lie to Long Fei. Chapter 18_8419/2356893. The Medicine Valley is right in front of us. The Medicine Valley is right in front of us. Violent Xiao Ying let out a long breath, a complicated expression appearing in his eyes as he looked towards Man Tuoyuo. The look in Man Tuoyuo's eyes as she looked at the valley was also very complicated. She had left the Medicine Valley in a fit of anger, taking a blood oath in front of everyone in Drug Race. If she couldn't concoct a peerless pill, she would never come back. From then on, she never returned to the Drug Race. While staying in the Mu family for the past few years, although she agreed to Mu Xiaoyao's son's engagement, she lived a miserable life, like a servant of the Mu family. She endured. Mu family Yi had placed her in front of the tools of the alchemy. She endured it. She wanted to return to the Herb Valley with limitless amounts of glory. She wanted to make everyone in Drug Race, from top to bottom, not dare to look at her as if she was a monster. She hadn't done any of that. The only thing she could do was that her alchemy technique had already entered a very high realm, and she was confident that there were not more than 5 people in the entire Drug Race who could surpass her. This was also the only thing she was confident of. 10 years. A whole 10 years. I didn't expect that I would return. Man Tuoyuo's heart was in a mess. She knew what this place was, but she had no choice but to return to it. She needed an antidote pill. A detoxification pill that only the Drug Race had. She had such a strong poison in her body that she couldn't even concoct the most basic of pills right now. Xiao Ying's voice was a little low as he said, "Mississippi Man Tuoyuo, enter the valley." She had already made all her preparations. Even if she were to be discriminated against and ridiculed in front of a monster, she would still hold it in. For the sake of his wronged parents. No matter how much suffering she endured, she would still endure. Long Fei took a glance at the heart of the valley and said in his heart, if a great enemy were to commit an offense, then he would be catching a turtle in a jar. Choosing such a terrain, I'm impressed. Long Fei laughed in his heart. Half an hour later, at the mouth of the valley. Stand there. Who are the 3 of you? Why have you come to the Medicine Valley? A disciple who was guarding the valley blocked the path of Man Tuoyuo and the other 2. Suddenly, he saw Man Tuoyuo's expression shake, and his legs could not help but soften, almost falling to the ground. He pointed at Man Tuoyuo and said, aren't you the monster from 10 years ago? The word monster rang out again. Just like a sharp blade, it pierced into Man Tuoyuo's heart. Xiao Ying immediately shouted, you dare to call yourself a monster when you saw the holy maiden of the Medicine Valley? Do you believe that I won't cripple you? The strange energy in his body surged as he burst forth with it. Man Tuoyuo's brows shook, and he shouted, Xiao Ying. Long Fei looked at Man Tuoyuo, at the painful expression in her eyes, and thought to himself, what kind of past does she have? Xiao Ying put his hands together and snorted, Oomph. Man Tuoyuo took a step forward, and the guard disciple retreated a few steps before saying, don't come over. You monster, don't come near me. Man Tuoyuo's brows tightened and said, can you help me notify the Valley Master? Xiao Ying said, Miss, what should we inform you about? You are the holy daughter of the Medicine Valley, and the old master and madam are the previous Valley Masters. Who would dare to stop us from entering the Medicine Valley? Who has the right to stop him? Violent Loli's temper was violent. However, what she said was not wrong. Man Tuoyuo was the holy maiden of the Herb Valley and the only daughter of the previous Valley Master. Yo, what big words! A group of people came over to the entrance of the Medicinal Valley for the medicinal pellet of the great clan elder. Behind them were a few disciples, and one of them was Yao Lang. The medicinal pill had a look of contempt on its face as it walked over with a cold smile. Holy maiden of the Medicine Valley, daughter of the previous Valley Master, my heavens, these 2 titles are really frightening. Are you afraid? Anyway, I'm scared to death. The pill seemed to be filled with fear. The disciples behind him immediately began to jeer. I'm afraid too. So scared. My legs have gone soft. Holy maiden, young Valley Master, this is too scary. The surrounding disciples all revealed looks of contempt, as well as mocking expressions. An unpleasant expression appeared on his face. At least, Long Fei was very unhappy. Xiao Ying's face turned sinister, his eyes burning with anger. He bellowed, "You dare to speak to the young miss like that? You—" Not waiting for her to finish, the medicinal pill had an angry look on its face as it roared. "Who do you think you are? You think you have the right to speak here? Man to all you owe, back then you committed a heinous crime in the Herb Valley, and you still have the nerve to say that you're a part of the Herb Valley? If I were you, I would have died a long time ago. Your life is the shame of the Medicine Valley." Very fierce, her eyes stared straight at Man Toaluo. Man Toaluo's expression was very calm. She had actually come to the Medicine Valley and was already prepared. She said, "Great clan elder, I will trouble you to inform the Valley Master that I have a favor to ask of you." "Humph! Inform the Valley Master? Man Toaluo, you don't even have the qualifications to step into the Medicine Valley. What are you notifying me about?" The pills said angrily, "You won't forget what happened back then, will you? You won't forget the scene of your father and mother kneeling in the ancestral hall in Drug Race, right? Man Toaluo, why don't you go and die?" Every word was filled with hatred. Each sentence was laced with poison. Long Fei really could not take it anymore. Taking a step forward, he said, "I say, this old man is also being a bit malicious, right? Tell others to die? Then let me ask you something. Why don't you go and die?" It was truly infuriating. People are easily bullied, but you can't bully them like this. The medicinal pill's gaze swept across the place and landed on Long Fei's body. It sensed the situation for a bit before coldly laughing and saying with contempt, "A trash of the 5th level of the immortal realm, scram to the side." Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and anger immediately soared to the skies. With a wave of his right hand, the dragon Salyer grabbed out as he took a step forward and said, "I, your father, crippled 18 generations of your ancestors." Boom! A dense aura instantly burst out. He dragged the dragon Salyer and rushed forward. At this moment, Man Toaluo suddenly blocked Long Fei, and at that moment, she immediately knelt down and said, "I will have to trouble Great Clan Elder to inform them." Suddenly, he knelt. Everyone was shocked. The most shocked one was Xiaoing. She had never seen her young miss in such a state. Her eyes flashed, and she said, "Young miss, you." The eyes of the medicinal pill trembled, and it instantly revealed a proud and cold smile as it said, "Ha ha. Man Toaluo, you can kneel too? Ha ha ha. It's really surprising, but not only should you kneel down, you even have to kowtow to me." F***CK. Long Fei was furious as he cursed loudly. Xiaoing grabbed Man Toaluo's arm and said, "Miss, let's get up." Man Toaluo's expression was very calm, and she said, "I'll kowtow." "Ha ha. Everyone come and see. The Holy Maiden of the Medicine Valley is going to kowtow to me. The young Valley Master is going to kowtow to me." The pills laughed out loud, feeling incomparably proud of themselves. Long Fei, very, very bad. He wanted to kill someone just because he was unhappy. Chapter 28_8419/2356894. More and more people gathered at the entrance of the Medicinal Valley. More and more people gathered at the entrance of the Medicinal Valley. Looking at Man Toaluo, who was kneeling on the ground, all of them revealed strange expressions. Hate. There was also sympathy. However, no one stood up for her. The pill was extremely proud. It looked at Man Toaluo with scorn and laughed. Clank, clank. Exactly. Hurry up and kowtow. We're still waiting to see. The Holy Maiden kowtowing. It must be extraordinary. The surrounding disciples jeered. Man Toaluo clenched his fists tightly. His body moved and was about to kowtow. It was also at this time Long Fei put a hand on Man Toaluo's shoulder and said, "Don't knock. If you knock, your dignity will be stepped on by others." Lu Luoxi kneeled. Long Quantian's kneeling made Long Fei unhappy. He didn't want to see anyone kneel under this pressure again. Seeing Man Toaluo kneeling on the ground made Long Fei extremely unhappy. The pill was still inching closer to asking her to kowtow, making Long Fei even more furious. The medicinal pill's gaze was filled with contempt as it sneered. Man Toaluo, are you going to knock or not? If you want to see the Valley Master, then knock. Not even if it doesn't ring. He did not even glance at Long Fei, because he disdained it. Man Toaluo did not look at Long Fei. Long Fei loosened his grip and said faintly, "If you knock down, I'll leave immediately." Finished. Man Toaluo paused for a moment, then laughed bitterly. 10 years ago, my dignity was stepped on by someone. To me, this dignity is too extravagant. As soon as his voice faded, Man Toaluo heavily smashed down. It was also at this time. Long Fei turned and left. No matter what it is, as long as Man Toaluo does not kowtow this head, he will help her with everything he has, even if it means opposing the entire Mu family. However, Man Toaluo still knocked on the door. From then on, Long Fei did not want to interact with her at all. Long Fei turned around, his heart aching. The instant he took a big step forward, a loud sound came from the entrance of the valley. Valley Master is here. Valley Master is here. Valley Master has come out. There was no sound of him kowtowing from behind. Man Toaluo was supported by a strong force and did not kowtow. Greetings, Valley Master. The surrounding crowd trembled in reverence. Master of the Medicine Valley, Yao Chantian, the alchemistess had reached a rather high realm in the immortal domain. Other than the alchemistess of the God Emperor Academy, there were not many people in the entire immortal domain who had reached this level of attainment in alchemy. Yao Chantian glared at the medicine pills and said, "Get up." At this moment, Long Fei also stopped. As long as Man Toaluo did not beat him up, he would stay behind. Man Toaluo was incomparably excited as he looked at Yao Chantian and said, "Uncle Tianchan." Valley Master. Man Toaluo quickly changed his words, but soon after, his expression tensed up as he said, "Sinner greets Valley Master." Yao Chantian glanced at Man Toaluo and said, "Stand up. Why have you come back this time? Didn't you stay in the Mu family well?" He had also been the one who arranged for Man Toaluo to go to the Mu family. Xiaoing opened his mouth to predict being stopped by Man Toaluo and said, "Valley Master, I have been struck by a strange poison and need the almighty anti-poison pill of the Medicine Valley." "What? Bai Ling antidote pill? Man Toaluo, is something wrong with your brain? Are you a first-grade spirit pellet for the almighty anti-poison pill? Is it something that could be refined so easily?" The surrounding disciples burst into an uproar. Almighty anti-poison pill were extremely rare. There were more than 100 spirit grass alone, and all of them could only be refined by top-grade spirit grass. Not even that. Almighty anti-poison pill-s were extremely hard to refine, and their success rate could not even reach 1%. Being able to successfully refine one was a gift from the heavens. This kind of pill was also a pill used to guard the medicinal valley. In the entire medicinal valley, there were only 2 of them. These 2 were refined by the previous head, and none of them had been refined in the past 10 years. The medicinal pill said coldly, "Man Toaluo, you're really amazing. You asked for the almighty anti-poison pill the moment you open your mouth. Why didn't you go up to the sky?" "Oh, all right. The almighty anti-poison pill in the Medicine Valley was refined by your father. You can't be here today to take it back, right?" They started to mock and ridicule him. Man Toaluo said, "Great clan elder, I want one. I am willing to pay for it with a special kind of spirit pill. This spirit pill is called Battle Spirit Pill. It is called Spirit Powder." "Spirit Powder? What is a spirit powder?" Man Toaluo said, "Once this pill comes into contact with a person, they will immediately seal their cultivation within a certain period of time, and that person will become like an ordinary person." As soon as he finished, the faces of the people at the mouth of the Medicine Valley suddenly changed. They were all disciples of the Medicine Valley and were all alchemy masters, but he had never thought of such a pill. Spirit powder? The battle pill's medicine that only existed in legends. This was the highest dream of countless drug race. The pill's expression secretly changed. His eyes narrowed. Staring at Man Toaluo, I never thought that this slut would actually be able to concoct such a pill. Yao Changtian slightly said, Shao Man, the almighty anti-poison pill itself was refined by your father. Now that you have the strange poison in your body and you want a piece of it, how can I not save you? As for the spirit powder, we'll talk about it later. Come with me into the valley. At this moment, 8 elders over the age of 80 stormed out. The one in charge shouted, Wait, Elder Pavilion? Why did they all come out? An elder from the Elder Pavilion? These 8 people were elders from the Medicine Valley Elder Pavilion. In the Medicine Valley, the Valley Master was not the highest authority, but rather the Elder Pavilion. The leading white-clothed elder fiercely glared at Yao Changtian and coldly snorted, Who gave you the right? Who told you to bring a monster into the valley? Who gave you the qualifications to give him the almighty anti-poison pill? And then, another linen-robed elder said, After the Elders' Pavilion has unanimously decided, from now on, you're no longer the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley, not even giving Yao Changtian the chance to explain. Moreover, their eyes brimmed with an incomparably strong hatred towards man Tualuo. The white-robed elder sneered and said, You want the antidote pill? You don't deserve it, do you? Monster like you should die outside. What face do you have to come back here? Could it be that you haven't harmed drug race enough? All the alchemy talents of more than 130 people were absorbed by you alone. Out of the 137, more than half were killed within 3 years, and the remaining half did not even have the ability to gather spirit grasses. Get out. His expression was incomparably excited. One of the dead disciples was their son, their grandson. Man Tualuo's face was extremely cold, his fists clenched even tighter. Xiaoing did not hold back and said, That's because they deserve to die. As soon as his voice faded, it was like a bomb had exploded. I think the one looking to die is you. Suddenly, an elder's chi burst out, his fingers grabbing towards Xiao Ying's throat. Patriarch, give me some strength. Chapter 3. Today he was extremely busy. He needed the company and the hospital, so he was going to waste everyone. I'll be fine today. Try to restore 5 chapters tomorrow, then find time to update. In addition, thank you for your blessings. Thank you. 8_8419/2356895. Understood. Understood. The moment Yin Huang ancestor's voice fell, a bizarre and powerful force burst out from Long Fei's body. One step, boom, it trembled violently and stood in front of Xiao Ying, blocking the way. The elder's attack just happened to fall down. Seeing Long Fei standing in front of him, his eyebrows twisted violently, his attack did not stop at all and still heavily fell down. Xiang Long Fei's throat. It was also at this moment. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted as he sneered. Let's see how hard your fingers are. His entire body was covered in a halo of light. Crack! The elder's 2 fingers grabbed on a Long Fei's throat. As he exerted strength with his 2 fingers, break! Break! Long Fei let out a cold laugh, and a burst of energy exploded out of his Adam's apple. Kacha, kacha! 2 bone-cracking sounds rang out. Xiaoing screamed, Long Fei. Man Tualuo's face also changed as he suddenly rushed forward. At this moment, my hand! The one who cried out was not Long Fei, but the elder. Both of his fingers were broken, and a powerful force forced him to bend and break. Not even that. Long Fei's gaze darkened, and she said, You 2 are bullying 2 girls all together. How King brazen. The rage in his heart raged. His right palm formed into a fist. Without waiting for the elder to retreat, he punched out, up hook. A punch landed heavily on the elder's lower jaw. He spurted a mouthful of blood, and his body flew into the air as well. Moonlit step. Whoosh! Long Fei took a step into the air. Without waiting for him to fall, his right leg suddenly jerked so. It was as if he was being shot through the air, directly sending him flying. Bam! Boom! He was sent flying and crashed into a large tree a dozen meters away. The elder coughed out blood again and again. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper and was in extreme pain. Long Fei swept his gaze across them. Who else is there? Who else wants to fight? If you have the guts, then come up and give it a try. Long Fei was extremely arrogant, domineering, extreme arrogance. What happened to Drug Race? So what if it was the Elder Pavilion? Even if he was dissatisfied, he could still crush them, and he would still be crippled. The surrounding people were all suppressed by Long Fei's domineering aura, even though the Elder's cultivation was not strong, and the pill was also a spiritual level cultivation. What cultivation does Long Fei have? Level 5 Immortal. A cultivation at the immortal realm was able to instantly shatter an elder of the spiritual level. This power. In their hearts, Long Fei's cultivation was definitely not at the 5th level of the immortal realm, but at the high level of the spirit immortal realm. Xiaoing became excited. Wow, so handsome that he fell to the ground. Man Taoyuo's eyes flashed as he looked at Long Fei. This man is too eye-catching. All of the elders and pavilion elders had dark and uncertain expressions. It was extremely ugly. Yao Changtian slightly said, Pavilion Master, Xiaoman also did not do it on purpose, and she has always begged the Pavilion Master to give her an almighty anti-poison pill on behalf of her dead big brother. I just observed that Xiaoman was indeed poisoned by the Mu family's god's heart poison. If you don't understand this, it will be a life-threatening gamble, big. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, the white-clothed elder shouted, You still have the nerve to mention your big brother? If it weren't for you protecting this monster, would it have survived until now? The most talented alchemist in the Medicine Valley, Yao Yuan. If it wasn't for her, would he have died? You still want the almighty anti-poison pill. Humph. As long as I am alive, I will absolutely not give you the almighty anti-poison pill. His voice was filled with a deep sense of resentment that had been pressing down on his heart for more than 10 years. There was a smug look on the face of the medicinal pill as he deliberately said, Valley Master. Oh, no, that's not right. You are no longer the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. What should I call you? Since you're not an elder or Valley Master, you should be able to be called Chang Tian, right? The pride in the medicinal pill's eyes was extremely strong. The 8 elders of the Elder Pavilion had all come out because of his advance notice. He also came to the entrance of the valley because he knew in advance that man Tualuo wanted to return to the Medicine Valley. Indeed, everything was as he had expected. The current Yao Changtian was no longer a Valley Master, and his position was even lower than that of an elder. More importantly, only he had the qualifications to ascend to the position of the head of the Medicine Valley. Yao Changtian asked, What do you have to say? She has brought a catastrophic blow to the Medicine Valley. In these past few years, the forces of our Medicine Valley have been growing day by day, and many families who have dealings with us have broken off their relationship. So the protection of our drug race S has been dwindling, and, as he said this, the voice of the pill shook as he said, I heard that the Mu family is pursuing her with all their might. If we save her, it would be tantamount to offending the Mu family. At that time, I'm afraid. The day of the drug race's clan extermination is not far away. As soon as his voice faded, everyone's faces sank, especially those elders from the Elders' Pavilion. In the past, they didn't put the Mu clan in their eyes. Now, the Mu family was the overlord of this area. If they were to offend the Mu family, the drug race would not be able to stop them. Immediately, the few elders immediately said, Pavilion Master, you can't save her. We should throw her out immediately. Right, we absolutely can't let her take even half a step into the Medicine Valley. This kind of monster isn't someone from the Medicine Valley. Quickly get the hell out of her mountain. Get out of here, didn't you hear? Monster, get out. Many people pointed at man Tualuo and berated him. They could not afford to offend the Mu family. Man Tualuo's face became more and more unsightly. Xiaoing grabbed onto Man Tualuo's hand, and when Long Fei saw the faces of the people from the Pill Valley, he frowned slightly. At this moment, Yao Changtian looked at the medicinal pill and asked, Great Elder, how do you know that the Mu family is hunting Xiaoman? You wouldn't be colluding with the Mu family, right? The pills that disappeared from the Medicine Valley couldn't have been secretly gifted to the Mu family by you, right? The look on the pill changed, and she immediately shouted, Yao Chantian, please watch your words. If you dare spout any more, I will not be polite. Amongst the disciples behind him, Yao Lang slightly lowered his head. Yao Chantian shouted, Are you angry because of what I said? Bullsh asterisk T. The medicinal pill roared in anger. At this moment, the pavilion master's voice shook as she said, Stop arguing. The surroundings quieted down instantly. The grand pavilion master stared at Mantoaluo and said, I don't care who it is that is chasing and killing you. The almighty anti-poison pill cannot be given to you. Quickly leave her, mountain. The drug race has nothing to do with you. Yao Chantian said, Pavilion master, please. Don't say any more. If you dare say another word, I'll expel you from the Medicine Valley. The pavilion master widened his eyes as he shouted. Mantoaluo clenched his teeth. Table of contents, his heart had died. She had too many fantasies about the Medicine Valley. Xiaoying supported Mantoaluo and said, Miss, let's go. Sai, if you recover your strength, you can use your alchemy to enter the valley and trade for an almighty anti-poison pill. Long Face suddenly stopped. 8_8494/2356896. Mantoaluo's heart had already died. Mantoaluo's heart had already died. Only almighty anti-poison pill could cure the divine heart poison in her body. If the pavilion master wasn't willing to give it to her, she would die. She didn't want to die. She still had many things to do, and she did not want to die. However, this was her fate, and she could not change it. Facing the drug race and the rest of them, the monster they spoke of had pierced her heart time and time again. He was truly in despair. Just as she was about to turn around and leave, Long Fei suddenly called out, Wait. Everyone was startled and stared at Long Fei. The great pavilion master opened his eyebrows and shouted, What do you want to do now? I have yet to settle the score with you regarding the matter of injuring my Medicine Valley's elders. Don't think that I'll be afraid of you. Drug race did not need to be so strong. Long Fei didn't even spare a glance at him. It's not like I'm talking to you. Why are you so afraid of a hammer? Then, Long Fei looked at Xiao Ying and asked, Does the almighty anti-poison pill have to be able to cure the poison in her body? Xiao Ying nodded heavily and said, Amen. Only almighty anti-poison pill can have miraculous effects. I don't think any other pellet would do. Moreover, Miss has already been poisoned for several days. I'm afraid that she won't be able to hold on for much longer. All right, next question. Long Fei did not ask any further and said, Other than giving them the almighty anti-poison pill, is there another way to make them obediently take out the almighty anti-poison pill? Huh? Xiao Ying was startled and said, You mean to say that once alchemy enters the valley, you will challenge the entire drug race, refine the strongest pellet, and then use this pellet to exchange for any pellet with the drug race? Can I? Long Fei said. Mantoaluo immediately pulled Xiaoying back and said, Don't speak nonsense. Xiaoying looked at Long Fei's serious expression and said, This is a rule set down by the first-generation Valley Master, and anyone who requests help from our Medicine Valley can use alchemy to enter the valley and refine the strongest pellet to defeat drug race, and then use this pellet to exchange for the pellet you want. Understood. Long Fei turned around and walked forward, directly walking in front of the pavilion master, facing him head-on. The corners of his mouth curled up, revealing a hint of smile, and he said, I want to use my alchemy to enter the valley. As soon as his voice faded, ha ha, ha ha, the surrounding people all burst out into laughter. Xiao Ying was also startled and hurriedly pulled Long Fei back and said, Come back, come back, come back quickly. You don't even know how to use alchemy. Many of the drug race disciples laughed at him loudly. Entering the valley? Brat, who do you think you are? You dare to compete with us in alchemy? Isn't this playing with swords in front of Master Guan's doors? That's not right. It should be the toilet lighting up. He's courting death. I think it's a bunk next to the latrine. It's not far from death. Ha! Drug Race's martial arts training was not strong. However, every single one of their disciples had extremely high attainments in alchemy. It was said that they were a branch of the Medicine King race and had inherited the Medicine King's secret scripture. This kind of secret manual was like a blood vein flowing within their bodies. Here, at the age of 10, he already knew how to control the temperature of the fire and how to control the time the spirit grass would enter the furnace. Other than the God Emperor Academy, it could be said that their alchemy technique was the strongest. Entering the valley? That was to challenge them one by one until no one in Drug Race dared to accept the challenge. Only then would they be considered as victorious. However, even after thousands of years, not a single person had entered the valley in such a manner. All of them ended in failure. The price of failure. Crippled and left the valley. He had to cripple an item on his body, be it his hands, eyes, or ears. This was the price for the failure of his alchemy entering the valley. Man Taoyuo also stepped forward and said, Long Fei, stop messing around. Let alone Long Fei. Even if she wasn't poisoned, she couldn't guarantee that she would be able to defeat this Drug Race rancor. There were simply too many alchemists in the Drug Race. Yao Chantian also followed. Kid, hurry up and retreat. The pill immediately replied, Pavilion Master, this brat is looking down on us, Drug Race. Such an arrogant brat must return the favor. Otherwise, do you think we, the Drug Race, are trash? As soon as his voice faded, the few elders immediately followed. Pavilion Master, we cannot let him go. You injured our elder, and now you're still entering the valley after leaving your alchemy. You're too arrogant. He is looking down on us, Drug Race. The few elders from the Elders' Pavilion also narrowed their eyes. They could not allow anyone to look down on the Drug Race. Moreover, regarding alchemy, they had never been afraid of anyone. The great Pavilion Master's brows sank, and she asked heavily, I'll give you a chance to reconsider, because I don't want to waste time on trash like you who doesn't even know what alchemy it is. You can still retreat now. Mantal Yuo immediately pulled Long Fei back and said, Don't challenge him. Let's go. Let's go. Xiaoying also firmly held on to Long Fei and shook her head. She regretted it very much now. She didn't even know that Long Fei was challenging the Drug Race. If she knew it was like this, she wouldn't have said that at all. The key point was, if he failed, Long Fei would be crippled. Everyone looked at Long Fei. The medicinal pill had a complacent expression as it sneered. Trash, you don't dare, right? Ha ha, just like you. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei moved his right hand, pointing his forefinger at the medicinal pellet, yet staring at the corner of the great Pavilion Master's mouth. He laughed coldly and said, Grandson, listen carefully. I want my alchemy to enter the valley and challenge your entire Drug Race. Word for word, every word he said was like a thunderclap that resounded through the sky. The arrogance and domineering aura from his body was released. His eyes were filled with determination. At this moment, the entire valley was completely silent. Even a pin drop could be heard. After a long time, the Pavilion Master let out a loud shout, and his chi also burst out. Good. I accept your challenge on behalf of the Drug Race. And then, the medicinal pill began to laugh loudly as it said, You're overestimating yourself. Prepare to be crippled. Many people from the Drug Race laughed. To them, Long Fei not knowing his place, daring to follow their alchemy, was equivalent to seeking death. Man Taoyuo's expression changed as he grabbed on a Long Fei and said, Don't. The medicinal pill jumped up and laughed complacently. The Grand Pavilion Master has already accepted the challenge. Does he want to leave now? Yes, I can cut off one of my arms and admit defeat. I can let you all go. Equals half carrot float hashtag life carrot. Mantal Yuo, you are very clear about the rules of alchemy entering the valley. If he dares not accept the challenge, you are very clear about what is waiting for him. Long Fei laughed coldly. Did I say I wouldn't fight? And then, Long Fei looked at Mantal Yuo and said, How many more days do you think you can hold on? Mantal Yuo looked at Long Fei his heart aching for some reason, and said, "With my current cultivation, I should be able to persevere for 3 days." Long Fei turned around to look at the pavilion master and said, "3 days later, we will begin. I want to flatten all of you dignified and aloof, and flatten all of your so-called alchemists one by one. 8_8419/2356897. If he wanted to be arrogant, then he had to be extremely arrogant. If he wanted to be arrogant, then he had to be extremely arrogant. If you want to fuck, do it in reverse. This was Long Fei's personality. As soon as he finished, the entire drug race was in an uproar. Too arrogant. This is too presumptuous. Kid, you are about to die. Everyone was filled with incomparable rage. The medicine shouted, 3 days later? What do you do when you escape 3 days later? Pavilion Master, don't promise him that. This kid wants to escape. Yes, don't promise him. What will happen in 3 days? The Medicine Valley does not have such a rule. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, I'm escaping? If I don't F*** you old guys up, would I run away? The Pavilion Master's gaze grew cold as he said, What if you escape? Who can guarantee that you won't escape? At this time, Yao Chantian stood out and said, I promise. The surrounding voices suddenly quietened as everyone looked at Yao Chantian. The medicinal pill's eyes revealed a hint of satisfaction as it immediately said, Yao Chantian, they are 3 outsiders. What guarantee do you have? Do you really think you are still the master of a medicine valley? Yes. What kind of guarantee do you use? What qualifications do you have to guarantee them? Quite a few elders also started to cheer him up. They were all on the side of the medicinal pills, so as long as they found a chance to suppress Yao Chantian, they would definitely not let him off. The Grand Pavilion Master looked at Yao Chantian. Yao Chantian looked at Long Fei, and then his voice sank as he said, I guarantee it with my life. As soon as his voice faded, it instantly quieted down. They were all shocked by him. Even Long Fei was the same. He was secretly grateful in his heart. The pill mocked. How much is your life worth? Why don't we do this and throw your life away as well? As long as this fellow loses, you can leave the Medicine Valley together with me. Yao Chantian, staying in the Medicine Valley, was a hidden danger for him. He had to get rid of it. Yao Chantian frowned and said, If you want to bet, then let's bet. He was going all out. At this time, Long Fei stared at the medicine and said, Since I have increased the stakes, then if I were to win, do you think that other than the almighty anti-poison pill S, would I be able to get anything else? The Pavilion Master asked, What do you want? Long Fei smiled slightly and said, It's that simple. I want to kneel in front of this uncle and kowtow 3 times. It's that simple. The face of the medicinal pill sank as if it had suffered an enormous humiliation as it shouted, Kid, are you courting death? Long Fei laughed. That's right, I'm courting death. If you have the guts, come and bite me, come. Come on. Grandson, if you have the guts, then come. Why don't you dare come? F***CK, your grandpa. Long Fei erupted with rage, his eyes staring straight at the pill, his voice rising higher and higher, not giving the pill any chance to breathe. The eyes of the medicinal pill tightened. One of the disciples said in a low voice, Master, don't go. This kid must be hiding his martial arts training strength. Then, the pill laughed complacently. You think I will fall for your trick? You don't dare, right? If you don't dare, then scram to the side. Don't be cocky in front of me, otherwise I'll kill you. Long Fei's eyes were like King Kong. He was furious. The pill shouted, Don't be so arrogant. I'll see how you die in 3 days. The Pavilion Master said lightly, All right, I'll agree to your wager. 3 days. The Grand Pavilion Master looked at Man Tuoluo and said, You only have 3 days. If you don't understand the divine heart poison in your body, you will also die. Finished. The Pavilion Master glanced at Yao Chantian coldly. From a moment, Yao Chantian stood out. He had beaten him into the cold palace and would probably never activate it again in his entire life. Let's return to the valley. The crowd dispersed. The medicinal pellet looked at Long Fei with interest as it coldly laughed. You still have 3 days of life left, hee. With that, he laughed and left. After he left, only Yao Chang Tian remained in the drug race. He walked to Man Tuoyuo's side and handed over a pill. This is the spirit flower antidote pill that I refined. Although it is not as good as the almighty anti-poison pill your father refined, but it can temporarily suppress the poison in your body, and you all should hurry up and leave during this period of time. Go to God Emperor Academy. God Emperor Academy will definitely be able to refine an almighty anti-poison pill. And then, he turned to Long Fei and said, Brat, take good care of Xiao Man along the way. My big brother only has a daughter like her. You must treat her well. You absolutely cannot bully her. Do you understand? Long Fei was startled and said, Why do I feel like betrothing her to me? Yao Changtian continued, People need to be a bit arrogant, but don't be too arrogant, too tough, too easy to break, and too soft, understand? Long Fei was stunned yet again. Just now Long Fei was too arrogant. However, Yao Changtian was still impressed by this brat. He was young, domineering, and arrogant enough. He had always wanted to be like this when he was young, but he had never been able to do it. All right, all of you leave quickly. No matter how far you go, you must never come back. As Yao Changtian said this, he secretly said in his heart, Big brother, I'm sorry. I can't even take care of your daughter. I'm useless. These were the only things he could do. He also didn't believe that Long Fei could pass through the alchemy and enter the valley, and even more so, didn't believe that he could win. This was impossible. How could someone who didn't understand alchemy defeat the entire drug race? Even if one understood alchemy, it was still impossible to win. Drug race might not have other abilities, but the attainments in alchemy. In the immortal domain, he was only second to the God Emperor Academy. He couldn't allow Man Tuoyuo to die here. He didn't want Long Fei to die here. Man Tuoyuo said, Uncle Tian Chong, if we leave, what will you do? Yao Changtian laughed and said, You are the Valley Master, and moreover, my alchemy technique has already reached the heaven-ranked primary realm in drug race. There are not many people who can compare to me. I still have a certain position in the drug race. At most, I'll just receive a bit of punishment. No one will dare to touch me. Maybe in the past. But this time, he wasn't sure himself, but since he had made the choice, he wouldn't regret it, even if it meant his death. Long Fei looked at Yao Changtian and said, Uncle, do you have a spirit grass on you? Yao Changtian was startled for a moment, then said, There is. What do you need spirit grass for? Long Fei asked again, How many spirit grass do you have? Yao Changtian replied, I replenished it yesterday, and it's a rank 1 space ring. It's full of spirit grass inside, and I'm preparing to go into closed-door training for my alchemy. Why do you ask this? Long Fei said, Can you give me these spirit grass? Yao Changtian was startled for a moment, then took out a space ring and said, There is no mark on the ring, so it can directly be used. All right, you guys hurry up and leave. Long Fei took the space ring and turned to leave. Man Tuoyuo and Xiaoying followed behind him. In the dark, the 2 disciples quietly followed him. The pill said coldly, Watch him till he dies. He 8_8419/2356898. Master, if we discover them escaping her mountain, should we stop them? Master, if we discover them escaping her mountain, should we stop them? The pill said, No need. Get them out of the valley. What I want is not Man Tuoyuo. I want Yao Changtian. The more Man Tuoyuo escapes, the better. Like this, it will be hard for Yao Changtian to escape death. The medicinal pellet did not care about Man Tuoyuo. It only cared about Yao Changtian and the position of the master of the medicinal valley. At this time, Yao Lang also walked into the house. He waved his hand and said, You can all go down first. If there's any news, report it to me immediately. Also, pay close attention to the movements of the Elder's Pavilion. Yes, sir. The crowd of disciples withdrew. Yao Lang said in a low voice, Master, We just received news that the Mu family members are already at the outskirts of Her Mountain. You can be at ease. Man Tualuo will definitely not be able to escape. Yao Lang bowed with a humble look. All right. Ha ha ha. The medicinal pill laughed crazily and said, Yao Lang, you have done very well this time. Not only did you make Yao Changtian roll down from his position as Valley Master, you have also put his life on the line. Once I become the Valley Master, you will be the next great elder. Yao Lang immediately said, This disciple does not dare to be greedy. This is all because of Master's past guidance. Ha! The more he looked at the medicinal pills, the more he liked them. This time, if not for him informing Man Tualuo in advance to return to the Medicine Valley, he would have missed this perfect opportunity. Yao Lang said slightly, Master, that Long Fei brat is not that simple. I am worried that he will not accept his loss. Why not get the help of the Mu family experts? He said carefully. The gaze of the pill tensed up as it stared at Yao Lang. Yao Lang's expression immediately changed and said, I am only making a suggestion. I have been ill-advised. He could not let the pills arouse any suspicion. Ha ha! The pill became excited, and she said, Yao Lang, you are really too smart. I didn't realize it in the past, but with the Mu clan's experts overseeing the matter, no matter what tricks that brat has up his sleeve, he will fall down. All right, this is a very good suggestion, and... The medicinal pill thought to itself, if the Mu family fully supports me, then the position of Valley Master will belong to me. And then, the medicinal pill took out a blue and white vase from its bosom and said, These are 3 jade dew spirit pills. They can allow people to quickly absorb the power of Celestial and give them to the Mu family head. Consider this a small gift from me. Please try your best to get the Mu family to support me. Yao Lang immediately took it and said, This disciple will definitely try his best to convince the Mu family. All right, hurry up and go. The pill became excited. As he watched Yao Lang leave, the excitement in his heart was clearly shown on his face. 3 days. 3 days later, I'll be the master of the Medicine Valley. Haha. In another location, Her Mountain, Long Fei found a secluded little call and said lightly, It's here. Man Tualuo was stunned and asked, What are you doing here? There's still 3 days. I need to upgrade my alchemy technique. Long Fei slightly said. Xiao Ying was startled. Raise alchemy technique? What are you trying to do? The leader of Heavenly Chong Valley wants us to leave Her Mountain quickly. And what are you trying to level up here? Man Tualuo's brows tightened and said, It's useless. You are simply not their match. Their alchemy-s are all extremely strong, and those elders are even more so unparalleled. How are you going to compete with them? I know you're worried about me, but I don't want you to risk your life. Let's go. Let's go. She didn't want Long Fei to be implicated for her again, and she also knew that it was impossible for Long Fei to win this match. There were too many alchemy experts in the drug race. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, There's no such thing as admitting defeat in my Long Fei's dictionary, as well as the word escaping. Alchemy does require talent, but, to me, it needs proficiency more. Man Tualuo was puzzled. Proficiency? Alchemy is not something that you can work hard to raise. Listen to my advice. Let's go. Xiaoying also said, Mrs. Wright, let's go. No one has ever won a challenge to enter the valley with alchemy, and this time, she looked at Man Tualuo and did not finish her sentence. Long Fei laughed. Can't you all have some confidence in me? This is impossible, Man Tualuo said. If you accept the challenge, you will. You will. Long Fei asked. What will happen to me? Man Tualuo said. You will die here. I beg you forget it. Let's go. Man Tualuo's tears came out. Since she was young, she rarely cried and never cried for someone's help. When Long Fei saw her tears, he became even more determined to overturn the entire drug race and make every single person who scolded Man Tualuo pay the price. And then, Long Fei had already taken out the magic panacea furnace and walked to a corner by himself to cultivate. Man Tualuo was dumbstruck. Xiaoying was also stunned. You're Nox. You're really not leaving? I definitely won't leave. Long Fei said, "All right, then I'll accompany you." Man Toaluo went all out, walked to Long Fei's side and said, "Didn't you want to learn how to refine spirit powder? I'll teach you. Xiao Ing, you are in charge of protecting them. You absolutely cannot let anyone near this Colonel." Man Toaluo became serious. Xiaoing nodded heavily and said, "Amen. Miss, don't worry." And then, Man Toaluo said, "Let me see what realm your alchemy technique has reached." Long Fei took a look at his own alchemy technique level, which was currently only at the 5th level of the profound stage, and said, "Look carefully. Power of celestial movement." The fire ignited. The pill furnace turned. He used his hands to sense the attributes of the spirit grass and threw it into the furnace. Half a minute later, boom! A loud noise came from inside the magic panacea furnace. The furnace exploded. The explosion made Long Fei's face turn jet black, and Mantoaluo was also blasted by the black smoke coming out from the pill furnace, instantly turning him into an African. The two of them looked at each other. Ha! Ha ha ha! The two of them laughed out loud in amusement. Mantoaluo laughed and said, "So this is your alchemy technique. It's so weak and weak. With your level, you still want to fight against the alchemist of drug race? Stop dreaming." Even though he said so, equals half carat float, hashtag life, carat however. Mantoaluo was still a little shocked in his heart because the process of Long Fei's alchemy was very special, especially the moment when he sensed the attribute of the spirit grass. This was a process that many alchemy masters and even masters would ignore. Long Fei slightly said, "Aren't you at the Grandmaster level? It's fine if you teach me." Mantoaluo said, "I'll go crazy with you this time. Whatever I say next, follow me and do it. Remember, do not miss out on any of these." Long Fei laughed. "Let's begin. 8_8419/2356899. No way. No way. Again. No, I don't have enough control over the pill fire. No way. The speed is too slow. The speed of the elixir is too slow. I can't control myself. Stop, stop. Bam. The furnace exploded again. Luckily, the magic panacea furnace's grade was not low. Otherwise, it would have been blown into pieces long ago. That was it. The two of them continued until late into the night. In the end, because Mantoaluo was too tired, she fainted. She was currently poisoned by the strange poison, and adding the past few days of traveling, her body was no longer able to hold on. Long Fei hacked his outer robes onto his body, picked up his pill furnace, and walked to the deepest part of the Colonel Patriarch. "How is her alchemy technique?" Yin Huang ancestor said 2 words, "Your talent is astonishing." Long Fei smiled faintly. As expected, her understanding of alchemy has already surpassed the average level. Is this how powerful a natural-born immortal root is? Yin Huang ancestor said indifferently. The only thing this girl isn't strong enough for is the power of celestial. Her cultivation is too high. If he were to grow up, it would definitely be a miracle in the alchemy domain. Haha, inborn immortal foundation. If such a person becomes a member of our team, he would be the logistics leader. With her there's no need to worry about the pills and supplies. Long Fei's heart started boiling. If he wanted to do well, he had to have a lot of brothers. The 8 Great Vajra was only a quest created by the system. How could these 8 players be enough? What was he going to face in Immortal Domain? Tong Tian Hall of Immortals. The strongest point of the Immortal Domain. Gu Wuji, a Grade 7 Immortal Foundation expert. Long Fei needed a strong team, a perfect team that no one could defeat. If Mantoaluo could become a member of his team, then this team would be even more perfect. Huff! Long Fei let out a heavy breath, and the idea moved. God's devil token. Buzz. Bedevilment. Buzz. Long Fei, in his heavenly demon form, started to cultivate inside the God's devil space. In the God's devil space, he only needed a small amount of power of celestial, and the cooldown time of the alchemy technique was also very little. It's starting. Ding. Refinery failure. Proficiency +5. Ding. Refining failed. Proficiency +5. The system beeped crazily. If he wanted to refine a high-grade pellet, Long Fei could not always rely on luck, even if he had fused with a 9-grade immortal spirit and raised the success rate of his alchemy. However, the most basic level was still level. After all, that is not your true strength. If you want to become stronger, you must continue to make breakthroughs in your true strength. Continue. Ding. Refining failed. From late at night until dawn, Long Fei did not rest for even half a second as he continued refining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current profound ranked level 8. Ding. God's Devil Space's training time is over. As soon as he finished, Long Fei was sent out by a God's Devil Space ranker, and at that moment, it was as if he had stayed in an internet cafe for 7 days and 7 nights. His hair was messy, his face was black, and he looked extremely haggard. Huff! Upgrading it by 3 levels is still not enough. Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh and poured all of the pills he had refined into his mouth. Gudong, power of Celestial, rapidly recovered. His physical strength had also recovered slightly. Recover. Long Fei moved as he returned to his human form and thought to himself, Ancestor, is there any way to break through the levels within God's Devil Space? He was only on the 3rd floor now. Too slow. Furthermore, the more alchemy techniques there were, the more difficult it was to break through. Yin Huang Ancestor said, Your power is currently not something that can be broken through, but if I can rely on my power to break through a few times, it will only be temporary. How many levels can I break through? Long Fei became excited. Yin Huang Ancestor asked, Which floor do you want? Long Fei became excited. Can you make it to the 9th floor? Yin Huang Ancestor laughed. You can, but your body won't be able to take it. How about this? I will help you break through to the 6th layer at night. This is the limit of your body. Long Fei said, Yes. At this moment, with his hands on his waist, the 2 peaks of Man Toal Yuo's chest shook, and with a shake, they began to undulate. Looking at Long Fei's excited face, he said, You still dare to be lazy? That tone, absolutely domineering. Long Fei was shocked and immediately turned around. Just right. He was less than 5 centimeters away from Man Toal Yuo. Their mouths met, noses to nose, eye to eye. If not for Man Toal Yuo's huge body pressing against Long Fei's chest, the 2 of them would have made contact. At this moment, Man Toal Yuo's face slightly flushed. Long Fei also felt a little uncomfortable, as he had once again inhaled the strong fragrance of Man Toal Yuo's innate immortal root. His mind was starting to feel a little out of control. All right, stinking hooligan, bullying our young miss again. Xiaoing walked in with a roasted wild rabbit. Long Fei's body suddenly shot out and quickly retreated. He also quickly calmed down and thought to himself, This is too evil, too evil. That scene is too evil. Man Toyo lightly coughed and said, Lazy with breakfast? You're not allowed to eat breakfast. Start giving me alchemy. If you dare to blow up the furnace again today, I'll show you. Man Toyo said tyrannically. His aura was completely like a royal sister. What's the situation today? The 3 of them are still in the call and have yet to come out. A disciple reported. The gaze of the medicinal pill darkened slightly as it said, To think that you didn't run away, even though it was slightly different from what he had imagined. However, the results would be the same, and he wouldn't be worried about the pills. He would just have to wait for another 2 days. And then, Medicinal Pills asked, What is the situation in the Elder's Pavilion? The Elder Pavilion is currently discussing the matter of the new Valley Master. First Elder, you are the first choice. Hearing this news, the medicinal pill smiled and said faintly, Don't tell me that they still have a second candidate. The disciple hesitated for a few seconds and said, There is still the 3rd elder's prescription. He is the second choice. Moreover, this time, the challenge of alchemy entering the valley will decide who the new valley master is. The medicine pill's brows tightened and said, use your alchemy to enter the valley to test us? All right. A mere medicinal formula is no match for me. The pill was filled with confidence, and after that the disciples in the hall dispersed, leaving Yao Lang behind, and asked, how is it at the Mu family? Yao Lang said, I have already seen the Mu family's head. He has agreed to support you, and when the time comes, he will enter Herb Mountain in the name of the Mu family's exchange group. Right now, I'm just afraid that someone won't let them into the valley. The medicine pill's eyes shook, and it immediately became angry. Who would dare stop my esteemed guest? If you don't want to stay in this place, then forget about it. When the time comes, just treat it as me greeting an envoy. A sinister look flashed across Yao Lang's eyes, and he immediately replied, Disciple will do as you say. Chapter 5, 8_8419/2356900. Your alchemy technique made another breakthrough? Man Taoyuo looked at Long Fei's speed, the temperature, and the control of his spirit liquid had all increased, causing his heart to tremble. In just 2 short days, Long Fei's alchemy technique had already reached Earth stage. It was simply an unbelievable existence. Long Fei did not want his secret to be discovered, and said, That's only because of your good teaching. That's more like it. Man Taoyuo smiled faintly. Long Fei's flattery was extremely enjoyable, but she knew clearly in her heart that Long Fei's talent in alchemy was shockingly high. She didn't even know how Long Fei had leveled up. Too terrifying. In just 2 days, he had increased by 7 levels. It was extremely shocking to Man Taoyuo, but it was far too slow for Long Fei. Today, I will teach you the refining method of spirit powder. Got it. Man Taoyuo slightly said. The spirit powder is divided into 5 types: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, fire, wood and water, and so on, suppressing each other with their powers of the 5 elements: water, fire, earth, metal, and wood, and so on. The spirit powder is refined using this kind of counterforce of the 5 elements. This is spirit sealing. Long Fei was secretly shocked. As expected, the system reward me with spirit powder S is for my metal attribute physique. Long Fei could not help but ask, if the 5 elements are able to counter each other, can you refine spirit powder with the ability to seal all attributes? Impossible, Man Taoyuo replied without even thinking. The 5 elements of heaven and earth are mutually exclusive, and only the power of the 5 elements is able to refine spirit powder S. As for spirit powder S of other attributes, they're simply impossible to refine. For an entire 10 years, I refined 10 years of pills in the Mu family and studied spirit powder S. I only managed to master spirit powder S that had the wood attribute. You have to remember every step of my life. And then, Man Taoyuo began to refine it. Long Fei looked at it very carefully, and every detail was not bad. A few minutes later, boom, a loud sound rang out from within the pill furnace as it exploded. Man Taoyuo also spat out a mouthful of black blood, his face becoming extremely pale, an extremely unreconciled look in his eyes as he said, We failed, but we still failed. Again, following that, she began to frantically refine it. Bam! Another failure. Spirit powder S were too difficult to refine, and even if she created them, the success rate would not even be 1%. Bam! Failure! Bam! Fail! After consecutively fighting against hundreds of times, Man Taoyuo had already become extremely weak. Long Fei was unable to stop him even after a few times. Again, Man Taoyuo spat out a mouthful of black blood and his body swayed. In the end, he could no longer hold on and directly fainted. The spirit pellet Yao Changtian gave him, she did not take it. The weakness of her body made it impossible for her to endure. Earlier, she had forcefully endured the alchemy, but now she could no longer endure it. Huff! Long Fei hugged her, gently put her down, and said softly, "The spirit powder, right? For me to refine it, the 5 elements are opposite. I want to refine a true spirit-sealing world's medicinal pill." Long Fei took his pill furnace and walked into the depths of the cove. In his mind, he constantly played back the process of man, Tualuo, refining the spirit powder, and at the same time, felt the attributes of every metal attribute spirit grass. A few minutes later, Long Fei began refining. Ding! Fail! No way! Long Fei immediately stopped and started to ponder. A few minutes later, he began refining again and failed yet again. That won't do. No way. No way. Continuously failing, Long Fei unendingly continuing, his high comprehension also coming out. However, he had not shaken the power of the 9 great immortal spirits that were fusing with each other yet. He needed to use this power at the most crucial point. Continue. Long Fei clenched his teeth and started refining once again. The proud face of the Chinese medicine stone in his mind. The mocking faces of the people in the Medicine Valley. This made him extremely unhappy. Drug race, right? The alchemy family, right? I will challenge your strength and trample all of you under my feet. The flames of anger in Long Fei's heart stirred. Continue. From morning to night, Long Fei continued to refine spirit powder S. From metal, wood, water, fire, and earth to other attributes of spirit grass, Long Fei did not miss any of them. He had already cultivated the spirit powder refining process to the state of being as pure as fire. However, he had not succeeded once. He was in no hurry. In the dead of night, the entire cove was completely silent, apart from the occasional strange animal cries. Long Fei let out a heavy breath and said, "Ancestor, I'm going to challenge the highest level today. I don't have time. I'm really too late." What he needed now was not success, is actually the level of the alchemy technique. After combining the day's worth of failed experiences together, Long Fei came to a conclusion. The demand for alchemy S was too high. Yin Huang ancestor said slightly, "Have you thought about it yet?" Long Fei said, "Come." And then, Long Fei moved, enchanted. He took out the God's Devil token S and entered the first floor. At this moment, the Yin Huang ancestor's power moved, and a dull sound echoed. Break! Boom, boom, boom. A series of intense sounds came up as Long Fei walked up the stairs step by step. His physical body could no longer bear the pressure of the 6th, 7th, and 8th levels. God's Bone Taboo. Open the first level for me. Boom! Long Fei immediately released the power of the God's Bone Taboo. The second level. Open. 2 consecutive floors. Long Fei's body stopped once again as he took a step into the 9th floor. His body felt like kneeling down all of a sudden, and he roared in his heart. 3rd floor, 4th floor, open for me. Boom, boom. After stabilizing himself, Long Fei moved and started using his alchemy. Ding! Refinement failed. Proficiency plus 300. Ding! Refining failed. Proficiency plus 50. Ding! Refinement failed. Proficiency plus. The lowest level of proficiency was 30%, and the highest was 100 points. Like a madman, Long Fei withstood the pressure of 9 layers of space and started refining without a care for his life. Long Fei roared out, "I want to reach the great complete realm." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for his alchemy technique level increase. Ding! Congratulations. The system kept beeping. Table of contents. Early morning. The 3 days were up. The mouth of the Medicine Valley was full of people. In the distance, Long Fei brought man Tualuo and shouting out of the forest. 8_8419/2356901. He's here! He's here! The crowd at the entrance of the Medicine Valley were all shocked. The majority of the people thought that Long Fei would escape within the next 3 days. They never expected that he would actually come forth to meet them. The medicinal pill glanced at Yao Changtian coldly and laughed coldly. You have saved your head, but in half an hour, you will be expelled out of drug race with them. He looked very pleased with himself. Yao Changtian frowned. He did not care about what the medicinal pellets said. What he cared about was why Man Taoluo did not leave. He clearly knew that the drug race were all alchemists. Why did he still come to challenge them? Yao Changtian hurriedly walked out, walked to Long Fei's side, and asked in a low voice, "Why aren't you leaving? Didn't I tell you to leave?" Man Taoluo said weakly, "Uncle, don't blame him. I chose to stay." Yao Changtian frowned. Seeing Man Taoluo's weak look, he said, "Where's the white flower spirit pill that I gave you? Why don't you take it?" Man Taoluo smiled lightly and said, "Uncle, I cannot drag you into the water, so I will return the white flower spirit pellet to you." As he spoke, he took out the pill. As long as she took Yao Changtian's medicinal pellet, others would know the truth and would naturally drag her into the water. Man Taoluo did not want to implicate Yao Changtian. This child, Yao Changtian's heart sank, and the remorse in his heart grew even stronger. Long Fei said slightly, "Uncle, don't worry, I will definitely win." Ha ha! After hearing that, the pill immediately laughed out loud. "You will win? Do you know what alchemy is? Do you understand alchemy? Alchemy rely on inherent skills and cannot be cultivated by just any kind of cat or dog. You will win. What did you take to win?" The pill said disdainfully. "Compete with drug race and alchemy? Wasn't this like an egg touching a rock?" He was asking for a beating. Long Fei did not bother with the medicinal pills. He looked at the pavilion master and said, "You are the person in charge of the Medicine Valley. Shouldn't you control the model dog in the valley a little? If it was in my world, this kind of person would definitely not be able to live in two lives." The medicinal pill immediately flew into a rage. "Brat, who are you calling a model dog?" Long Fei moved his finger, pointed at the medicinal pill's face, and said arrogantly, "I'm talking about you. You modeled old dog. How is it? Come bite me. If you have the guts, come F***ing up and bite me. You don't dare? If you don't dare, then go rest for lousy. Fuck." Long Fei was extremely fierce. He could not help but curse, and was extremely displeased with the medicinal pill. This kind of person needed to be dealt with. With a livid expression, Pill's fists clenched tightly as fire appeared on its head. It said in a gloomy voice, "You dog, don't think that just because you have a little bit of strength you can be proud of it." Without waiting for him to finish, Long Fei laughed. "So what if I'm proud? I pointed at your nose and scolded you. You don't even dare to come up and bite me? How can a weak person like you have the nerve to live in this world? Even if you live, it would be a disgrace to your parents. I am truly puzzled. Why didn't your father shoot you down when you were strong? Email protected. At the medicinal pill had gone berserk, and its face was extremely ugly, like a ferocious beast that was about to pounce and bite Long Fei. However, Long Fei was completely fearless, coldly laughed, and said, "You're angry? Come, come, come." The pavilion master roared, "Enough. Brat, this is the medicinal valley. If you still want to challenge it, please restrain yourself. Otherwise, we will drop this match today. You can't even think of obtaining almighty anti-poison pill." Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and he cursed in his heart, "Old bastard." Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Tell me, how does alchemy entering the valley challenge?" Man Taoluo couldn't hold on for too long. He had to quickly win the challenge and obtain the almighty anti-poison pill, or else. Just when the Grand Pavilion Master wanted to speak, a group of people walked out from a road not too far away. The medicinal pill's eyes lit up with excitement as it said, "It's here." And then, the medicinal pill said to the Pavilion Master, "Pavilion Master, I've invited the Mu clan's men over." A member of the Mu family? Even though he hated Man Taoluo and hated her for harming his grandson, he did not want to have anything to do with the Mu family, and he did not want the Mu family to get involved either. The medicinal pill immediately explained in a low voice, "Grand Pavilion Master, this kid who competed in alchemy is definitely not our match. But in terms of martial power, we need someone to suppress him, or else our clan's rules will be broken by this kid. He definitely won't admit his loss. When the experts of the Mu clan come, they will naturally be able to suppress him. Also, the voice of the medicinal pill lowered and said, "Man, to all you owe, this monster has always been chased and killed by the Mu family. This time, it just so happens that the Mu family brought her back, so we have one less thing to do." The Mu clan is the overlord of a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. As long as we establish a good relationship with the Mu clan, our Medicine Valley will not have to fear anyone. He said a lot. He had a lot on his mind, but he was thinking on the bright side. Never thought of the bad side. The pavilion master's face was calm without any ripples. After listening to the explanation of the pill, she nodded her head and said, "You are in charge of receiving the people from the Mu clan." Mu Xiaoyao walked next to Man Tuoluo and gave him a cold glance. A sneer hung on his face, and then he looked at Long Fei seriously. "Trash." Long Fei glanced at Mu Xiaoyao from the corner of his eyes and laughed excitedly. "Boss." And then Mu Xiaoyao walked to the front, gave a respectful smile, and politely greeted Pavilion Master. The Pavilion Master politely smiled and said, "Clan Head Mu." Mu Xiaoyao said, "This visit was a great offense. Please forgive me, Pavilion Master. It was also because of Man Tuoluo that she killed my son, and that's why." The medicinal pill took a step ahead of him and said, "Patriarch Mu, you are overthinking it. This Man Tuoluo is also the bane of our drug race. The reason we have invited you here today is to have you come as a notary." "Ha ha!" Mu Xiaoyao laughed and said, "I've heard about what happened. Don't worry, I will definitely enforce the law impartially. If anyone dares to break the rules, I will let them know about my Mu Xiaoyao's methods." While they were talking, his gaze was fixated on Long Fei. Man Tuoluo frowned. She was very clear about the Mu family's ambition. Why would they need to bring over 10 of their elite warriors as witnesses? There must be a purpose. Moreover, the Mu clan had always been eyeing the Medicine Valley covetously. She wanted to step forward and say something, but was stopped by Long Fei. He naturally understood this as well. However, it was useless to say anything now. He had to win this alchemy challenge. Mu Xiaoyao was unperturbed by what he saw. He turned and walked to Long Fei's side, laughed coldly, and said, "Brat, you're the one that killed Clan Elder Mu Feng, right?" His eyes were cold. A thick, killing intent emanated from him. Long Fei's eyes moved, his mouth raised, and laughed. "That's right, what's wrong? Is there a problem?" 8_8419/2356902. Arrogant. Arrogant. Extremely arrogant. Are you that great, Mu Xiaoyao? I'm just as arrogant and tyrannical as before. When Long Fei said these words, his expression was extremely arrogant. He did not think that killing Mu Feng was anything impressive, and he did not place Mu Xiaoyao in his eyes at all. However, he was very excited about one thing, because Mu Xiaoyao was a boss that could make big leaps. If he did not want anything else, he wanted to get the heart of ancient fairy tree. You will definitely be blown up. Long Fei was extremely excited. At this moment, everyone's hearts tightened. No one expected Long Fei to be so arrogant, to actually admit killing the Mu family elders in front of Mu Xiaoyao. How arrogant was this? Furthermore, he spoke so arrogantly. Isn't this courting death? The medicinal pill had a complacent look on it as it laughed in its heart. What a brainless person. Mu Xiaoyao's brows tightened as he stared coldly at Long Fei. After pausing for a few seconds, he laughed coldly. All right, very good. As long as you dare to admit it. You just don't have to admit it. The killing intent in Mu Xiaoyao's eyes grew even stronger, and he said, "The rules for entering the valley through alchemy is for the loser to use the parts on their body. I don't care what they do to you. Today, I will definitely let you die here. I, Mu Xiaoyao, will do what I say." Absolute Chop was exceptionally serious. Since everything had been said so openly, Long Fei became even more fearless and said, "Since you've said it like that, then I should state my stance as well. Your father will definitely blow you up today. I will do it even when I say it. The smell of gunpowder immediately exploded in the air, as if a spark would explode at any moment. The atmosphere was extremely tense and tense. Mu Xiaoyao's killing intent became stronger, staring straight at Long Fei. Similarly, Long Fei also stared straight at Mu Xiaoyao. If he dared to move, he would immediately summon his giant demon hands and hammer him to death. Ha ha, ha! Mu Xiaoyao laughed and said, "Then we'll see. Let's see whether you die or if you screw me over." And then Mu Xiaoyao said to the Pavilion Masters, "Pavilion Master, you guys go first. As long as this bastard dares to play any tricks, I'll immediately kill him." The Pavilion Master said lightly, "Then I'll be troubling Clan Head Mu." At the same time, Long Fei said a few sentences in a low voice to Xiao Ying. Xiao Ying's expression slightly changed, and then she quietly disappeared. While everyone's attention was focused on Long Fei, she walked over to his side and said a few words to him. Yao Changtian lowered the center of his brows, glanced at Mu Xiaoyao, and then disappeared into the medicinal valley. Once you enter the valley, there will be a total of 5 matches. Each match will have the quality of the medicinal pellets, the level, and the victory point. If you win, you can enter the next stage. In the first 4 matches, we will provide the same spirit grass, the same pill furnace, and the required pills will be produced. In the 5th round, all of the spirit grass will be used to refine their own pills, and the pill quality will also be determined by the grade. Is there anything you don't understand? Long Fei said, "Yes." The Pavilion Master asked where. Long Fei said, "May I ask who will be the judge? You? What if you guys intentionally say that my pills are poor?" The Pavilion Master widened his eyes and said somewhat angrily, "Our drug race would not lie. The alchemy was passed down to us by the Master. We will absolutely not insult our ancestor." The pill said in disdain, "Brat, you are a villain yourself. Don't think of us as villains." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei shouted again, "Don't be so blind. Come up and bite me if you dare. If you don't have the balls, scram to the side." The medicinal pill's face was livid as it fiercely said, "Let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant for." Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, "All right, I'll believe you guys for a while." Actually, he was just asking. Seeing the Pavilion Master's expression, he knew that it shouldn't be a lie. However, if his pill was of the same grade as someone else's, then he would have definitely lost it. This point was without a doubt. This was their home ground advantage. And then, the moment the Grand Pavilion Master's voice fell, he said, "Let the alchemy enter the valley and begin the first round. Bring the spirit grass to the cauldron." As soon as his voice faded, all of the disciples quickly retreated, and all of them looked at Long Fei with eyes filled with contempt. "You overestimate yourself. Trying to compete with us in alchemy? That's more like it. Who would the Grand Pavilion Master send out to fight? If only it was me, I would be the first to step on him. Anyone from the Medicine Valley can defeat him. I heard that this competition will decide who is the new Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. I wonder if that's true or not." The crowd whispered amongst themselves. At this moment, Mu Xiaoyao whispered to a disciple, and that disciple quietly retreated into the forest. Long Fei wanted to kill. Man, Toal Yuo wanted to get rid of him. But the most important reason for his visit this time was the entire drug race. He absolutely could not let something like the spirit powder come out. He absolutely could not. Otherwise, his Mu family would become a low-level family that anyone could step on. At this time, the spirit grass S and pill furnaces were placed on the powder-making competition stage. Powder-making competition stage. It was set up on both sides of the Medicine Valley, just like a practice area, the 8-trigram circle. "Who goes out to fight?" The Pavilion Master slightly shouted. Instantly, "I'll go, Grand Pavilion Master. If he asks me to step out, I'll immediately cripple him. Grand Pavilion Master, I'll go. Let me go. Let me do it." A large group of disciples rushed forward, just like a cannibal who had caught a whiff of the smell of blood. In their eyes, Long Fei was just a primary school student. They could do whatever they wanted to him It was so oppressive that he did not dare to come out from the water even half a step. He also wanted to participate in the battle for the medicinal pills, but he didn't fight because this was too low level and wasn't even qualified to participate. The Grand Pavilion Master smiled slightly, then said, "Yao Ling, you fight." "Yes, sir." A drug race disciple around the same age as Long Fei walked out of the crowd. His face was filled with pride. He walked to the powder-making competition stage, gave Long Fei a cold smile, and said disdainfully, "I will make you tremble." Long Fei laughed. "Idiot." Yao Ling frowned. The Pavilion Master shouted, "Yao Ling, don't let them disturb your mind." Oh, Grand Pavilion Master is indeed Grand Pavilion Master. You sure know a lot." Long Fei laughed. This was the most basic of all. Regardless of whether it was alchemy, artifact forging, or cultivation techniques, he had to be calm in his heart and put all of his heart into it. As soon as the great Pavilion Master's voice fell, he said, "The first stage is the immortal opening pill." As soon as his voice faded, equals half carrot float hashtag life carrot, everyone in drug race laughed. Ha ha! Opening spirit pill, the pill that Yao Ling is most proficient in. This brat is definitely going to lose, huh? Is the Grand Pavilion Master really the Grand Pavilion Master? Yao Ling laughed with incomparable pride, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Prepare to tremble." 8_8419/2356903. Isn't it too shameless? Isn't it too shameless? Xiaoying shouted angrily. Is there anyone that bullies others like that? He is in charge of concocting the spirit-opening pill. Yet you chose to compete in the spirit-opening pill? Ha! Are you unhappy? If you're unhappy, then don't compete. If you want to compete, then you must follow the rules of our Medicine Valley. Ha ha ha! The drug race disciples were all excited. There was no longer any suspense in this match. Long Fei was definitely going to lose. Xiao Ying said angrily, "Shameless, despicable." Man Taoyuo pulled Xiao Ying back and said, "Don't speak, don't disturb Long Fei. This is the Medicine Valley." They were the ones who wanted to challenge him, so they couldn't blame anyone else. Xiao Ying stomped his feet in anger. "Miss, isn't this bullying too much?" Man Taoyuo said, "I believe in Long Fei." Yao Ling watched as Long Fei stood on the stage, at a loss of what to do, and laughed. "Brat, you haven't even seen a spirit-opening pill before?" "Ha ha ha! That's right. How could a lame duck like you see a spirit-opening pill?" Long Fei did not speak. He held one spirit grass in his palm and felt it. The attribute is fire, 53% spirit liquid. This spirit grass is of the metal attribute, and its spirit liquid composition is 39%. One after another, spirit grass would sense and understand their attributes. A good quality pellet did not mean that your spirit grasses were of a high quality, but rather it meant that you had to use the strongest effect from the spirit grasses, perfectly produce a chemical reaction, and perfectly fuse them together. Has he gone silly? I told you that he didn't know how to use his alchemy. Kid, get the hell down here. Ha ha! You want to obtain alchemy with just this appearance? Go home and drink your milk. The drug race disciples jeered. Spirit-opening pills were just the most basic of pills. Even the 3-year-old kids here all knew how to refine them. But Long Fei just stood there like a log on the powder-making competition stage. Yao Ling laughed coldly and said, "Trash, look carefully. How do I tell you to refine the spirit-opening pill?" Finished. Yao Ling moved, the power of Celestial moved, the flames burned brightly. Following that, his technique was very stable and also very fast. The reaction speed of the idea was also very strong. He was able to grasp every single change in the pill's quality with great precision. He had to say it. His alchemy inherent skill had reached quite a high level, as expected of a branch of the Medicine King race. 3 minutes later, Yao Ling smiled, shouted, and said, "All right, Wong." A crisp sound came from the pill furnace. This was the sound of a pill being refined, and at the same time, the pill's spiritual scent spread out. A high-grade celestial opening pill was successfully concocted. 3 minutes. His speed was astonishing, and his ability to grasp pills was even more astonishing. Even the pavilion master smiled in satisfaction. Mu Xiaoyao's gaze darkened secretly as he thought in his heart. The disciples of the drug race are indeed extraordinary. A mere disciple is able to refine a spirit-opening pill in such a disparity compared to the alchemist of our Mu family. He's simply a bunch of trash. Yao Ling finished refining. However, Long Fei had not started. Xiaoying became anxious and asked, "Miss, why hasn't he started training yet?" Already said no. How could the powder-making competition fight against the people of the drug race? What should we do? What do we do now? Xiao Ying was an impatient person, and seeing that Long Fei had not yet moved, she became incomparably anxious. At this moment, the disciples of the drug race started to jeer and mock him. Are you going to refine it or not? If you don't want to, then get lost. Don't embarrass yourself. Kid, have you been scared silly by senior fellow apprentice Yao Ling? Ha, get lost. The pill started to feel proud and clamored, "Brat, you're so arrogant. Aren't you very arrogant? Why did you become a mute now? You must be even more arrogant now. Dead dog." Ha. He finally had the chance to slander Long Fei. The medicinal pill was leaking crazily. Everyone was laughing at Long Fei, and Mu Xiaoyao was also speaking with cold contempt. I had thought that it would be as high alchemy technique as it is, but it turns out that it's just a fool. The pavilion master also said lightly, "If you're unable to forge it, then please admit defeat and do not waste everyone's time. Get lost. What are you refining for? Always looking at the spirit grass, can it still talk to you? Wasting time. Grand Pavilion Master, please announce his defeat." The cries of the drug race disciples grew louder and louder. At this moment, even Man Tuoyuo was a bit worried. This was the first time for the spirit-opening pill, so it had never been refined before. Even if it could be refined, it might not succeed. Even if he succeeded, nor could it be above the quality of Yao Ling's medicinal pellets. This was going to be difficult. Imperceptibly, Man Tuoyuo's 2 hands tightly grabbed onto the corner of his clothes. The pavilion master continued, "I'll give you 3 more minutes." It was also at this time. Long Fei's eyes suddenly flashed with a bright light, as if he had suddenly gained enlightenment in a moment, and said, 1 minute. As soon as he finished, boom! The power of celestials surged, the fire ignited, and then Long Fei raised his hand, and the spirit grass descended, and started refining it with an astonishing speed. His movements were too fast. It was dazzling. However, many people in the drug race could see very clearly as they said with a cold smile, "Isn't this copying Yao Ling's alchemy? Imitation. Too shameless. Disgusting." One contemptuous voice after another sounded. However, the order in which the last few spirit grass were thrown in was different. The great pavilion master's forehead sank. Even he felt that it was very strange. If this is the case, how will the spirit liquid be merged with the alchemy? That's not right. This is against common sense. No. In his mind, he inferred. He was more familiar with the immortal opening pill than anyone else, because he had researched it personally. No one knew the concocting process of the immortal opening pill better than him. Seeing that Long Fei set a few spirit grass in the wrong order, he first mocked them, then was shocked, and then he just couldn't understand. The other disciples could only mock him. Definitely failure. He really doesn't know how to use his alchemy. He doesn't even know the most basic of things. Man Tuoyuo was also panicking. Crap, he placed the wrong order of spirit grass. This pill, even if he did not fail, it would be a useless pill. Long Fei was still frantically refining. His idea stayed in the furnace the whole time, fusing the spirit liquid and fusing them together, producing the most intense chemical reaction. At this moment, he entered a state of selflessness. His world only had the pill in the pill furnace. The power of celestial churned, bursting out even more violently than before. Suddenly, Long Fei shouted in his heart, second level, without peer. Baidu sister-in-law, AA half. Floating life, strongest upgrade system, boom. His energy surged, releasing an incomparable amount of power, allowing the spirit liquid to frantically release and fuse with the power of Celestial. Let me handle it. Long Fei shouted loudly, and in that instant, rumble. F*CK. The furnace exploded. 8_8419/2356904. The sound of the pill being refined was probably a crisp and light sound. There was only one possibility for such an explosion. The sound of the pill being refined was probably a crisp and light sound. There was only one possibility for such an explosion. The furnace exploded. There was a sudden silence. And then, loud laughter erupted from the crowd. Ha ha! The furnace exploded. Ha ha! The furnace really blew up. I was laughing so hard I thought it was so awesome. So it turns out it's just a tease. Brat, you're still using your alchemy to refine your mother's milk. Ha ha! They were all laughing. The people of Drug Race were laughing, as were the people of the Mu family. Only Xiao Ying's face was filled with anger, as well as the tight frown between his eyebrows. Amongst these people, the medicinal pills were smiling proudly. Trash, no matter how arrogant you are, aren't you just a bit more eloquent with your words? Now let's see how you can still act so arrogantly. He lost, cripple him. Someone suggested it in an instant. It also elicited various responses. Yao Ling's face was filled with contempt as he said in disdain, I had thought that you were so strong, but it turns out you don't even understand alchemy. Making fun of your powder-making competition is simply an insult to me. Finished. He walked down the powder-making competition stage. The great pavilion master's heart also relaxed slightly. With a hint of contempt, he said to himself, the immortal opening pill was created by me. I have fused all the advantages and improved the technique. How could an alchemy apprentice like you change it? You overestimate yourself. He wouldn't do such a thing with any other pill, but he had researched this immortal opening pill, and it was something he couldn't allow others to insult him in the slightest. The Grand Pavilion Master's voice sank as he suppressed the voices of the Drug Race's disciples. He stared at Long Fei, who was standing on the powder-making competition stage, and said, Brat, you have lost. At this moment, Long Fei smirked and said, Did I lose? The pill couldn't help but shout. The furnace has already exploded, and you still dare to say that you didn't lose? Do you even know alchemy? If you don't understand, then don't be cocky here, understand? Long Fei's finger moved as he pointed to the medicinal pill and laughed coldly. Yo, you're so arrogant now. The pill shouted. Kid, you still dare to be impudent with the protection of the Mu family's experts? Mu Xiaoyao stood up from his seat, his eyes staring straight at Long Fei. He shouted, Kid, you have to admit defeat. Lose? Who said I lost? Long Fei sneered. His gaze turned to the pavilion master as he said, The rules of the competition does not allow explosion of the furnace. The pavilion master shook his head and said, No, but, without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately interrupted him and said, Since there's no proof, then why are you admitting that I lost? Who told you that a furnace explosion would prevent you from refining pills? Who told you that? The great pavilion master frowned and said, This is the basics of alchemy. An explosion means that the power within the pellet will explode. Wow, you are so knowledgeable. Long Fei laughed in disdain, and then he removed the broken pieces of the pill furnace and lay down quietly on a pill at the bottom of the furnace. At this moment, the pill released an incredibly dense spirit fragrance, overflowing. The entire valley was filled with the spirit fragrance of the immortal opening pill, as though it had refined all the spirit liquids of the dozen or so spirit grass. This feeling was too wonderful. It made people feel like they were trapped in a world of dreams. At this moment, the entire venue quieted down. They were all looking at the pill on Long Fei's powder-making competition stage. At this moment, it was as if they had been unknowingly slapped in the face. Their cheeks were burning with pain, and they were in an extremely terrible situation. Yao Ling's expression suddenly changed, and his body trembled. Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible. It's impossible for an immortal opening pill to have such a dense spiritual fragrance. Based on his alchemy technique, it's impossible for him to successfully refine it. Every single person in the drug race were all experts in alchemy, so they were very clear on what such a dense spirit fragrance meant. Top-grade pill. Just a moment ago, he was disdaining Long Fei for not understanding alchemy, but now, his old face looked as if it had been slapped until it was swollen, looking extremely uncomfortable. At this time, Long Fei took the immortal opening pill that he had refined and walked down to the front of the pavilion master and asked, "Is there still a need to compete?" At this moment, he did not even dare to look into Long Fei's eyes. This kind of feeling was really bad. The result of his investigation of several years ago was actually broken by him for the first time. It had improved. This kind of feeling was too unbearable. Taking the immortal opening pill from Long Fei and placing it in his palm, the idea moved a bit, and a bundle of sensing power of celestial appeared on the center of its palm. In that instant, in less than a second, the pavilion master's expression suddenly shook as his eyes fiercely glared. He was incomparably shocked. How exactly did you refine it? Impossible. That's absolutely impossible. This immortal opening pill is already. It is beyond the scope of top-quality pills. It has already reached the realm of top-quality pills. The pavilion master was extremely shocked. So much so that he was extremely excited when he spoke. As soon as he finished, Yao Ling was enraged. He could not hold back and vomited a mouthful of blood as he fainted. The entire audience was also shocked. Peerless pill? Even a grandmaster would find it difficult to forge a pill. Yet, he was able to reach the level of a top-notch pill on his first try. Is he a human or a ghost? Isn't this too unbelievable? Long Fei's gaze swept across them and said indifferently, "The only thing I want to know now is who will win." He didn't want to say anything else. What he wanted now was the result. Although the pavilion master did not want to admit it, he had to admit that even he was unable to refine this pill. The shock in his heart was incomparable as he said indifferently, "You've won." As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience was in an uproar. Man Tuo, who had been extremely nervous all this time, heaved a sigh of relief. Just now, her heart had been hanging by her throat, and she was extremely nervous. Xiao Ying cried excitedly and shouted loudly, "Young Master Long is mighty. Young Master Long is domineering. Young Master Long, I love you." No. He was already incoherent. Long Fei's gaze swept across them. Looking at those disciples of the drug race who mocked and despised him earlier, he laughed coldly. "Ha! Laugh. Continue to fucking laugh for lousy." His voice was arrogant. The anger in his heart was vented. Walking to the side of the pill, he pointed to the nose of the pill and cursed. "Weren't you the one who smiled the most just now? Now laugh for lousy again." "Huh? Why the fuck aren't you laughing?" F***CK. Furious, Long Fei arrogantly vented out his anger. At this moment, all the drug race disciples were crushed, and no one dared to laugh again. The face of the medicinal pill was as though it had been slapped left and right by Long Fei. Suddenly, the medicinal pill took a step forward and said, "Pavilion Master, I'll take the next test. 8_8419/2356905. A supreme grade spirit pill. A supreme grade spirit pill. He crushed them with brute force. Yao Ling was even crushed to the point of spitting blood. Long Fei's arrogance and domineering attitude also caused many of the drug race disciples to feel extremely displeased. They were displeased that Long Fei did not care. Long Fei only cared. He wanted to feel good. Many disciples of the drug race also shouted out, "Grand Pavilion Master, I'll take the next test. I'll do it. I must let this brat experience the power of our drug race." The fire is already big. When has the drug race ever been bullied like this? Let me do it. All the drug race disciples exploded. Let's wait first. The great pavilion master's voice sunk. With a shout, he walked in front of Long Fei and said, "Can you tell me how this pellet was refined?" In that moment, he had simulated this countless times in his mind, and the final result was always one: failure. It was impossible to succeed. But Long Fei had succeeded, and he had very calmly succeeded. How'd he do it? He really wanted to know, like a cat scratching itself. He couldn't help but want to know. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Do you want to know?" The Grand Pavilion Master looked at Long Fei and asked, "Can you tell me?" Long Fei laughed. "Please." The Great Pavilion Master frowned. "This is too presumptuous. Boy, don't be too arrogant." An elder from the Elder Pavilion shouted in anger. Who was the Pavilion Master? The real leader of the drug race. Wanted him to save a junior? This was slapping drug race in the face. Long Fei grinned. "I am this unbridled, this arrogant to bite me?" Long Fei was unhappy about how they treated Man Toaluo that day. Unhappy Elder's Pavilion. "Are you really that strong? I am stronger than you. I will trample you to death." The Pavilion Master's heart trembled as he looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said again, "Please, please, I will tell you." The Great Pavilion Master frowned and said heavily, "I beg you, please tell me." As soon as he finished, the entire drug race was quiet as they all looked at the Pavilion Master. Everyone was stunned. Pavilion Master, Medicine Valley Sovereign, he is currently asking for an outsider, and he is even asking for an outsider's alchemy to enter the valley. "Ha!" Long Fei laughed and said, "I'm begging you, but I won't tell you either." "You?" As if he was being toyed with, he said in a deep voice, "This is still the first stage. There are still 4 stages waiting for you. So don't think that just because you've concocted a supreme level spirit pill that you're complacent about it. This is only the first stage. There's still a high prize competition later on. I'll give you a chance right now. As long as you tell me the secret of how to concoct the supreme level spirit pill, I will let you leave safely." "Oh, I'm so scared." Long Fei acted like he was afraid and said, "But I won't tell you. I'll piss you off." "Threatening your father? Who do you think you are?" He hated people who threatened him the most in his life. The Great Pavilion Master's brows sank, and his eyes became cold. He said solemnly, "Second stage." Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Come." That day, Man Toaluo begged everywhere, even kneeling down, but what about them? Since even the valley did not allow her to enter, there was a time when she could only beg him. Naturally, Long Fei would not let her off so easily. Xiao Ying was a little dumbstruck from the look and said slightly, "Miss, young Master Long is too handsome and too domineering." However, Man Toaluo was secretly worried in his heart. Long Fei's arrogance had already angered everyone in the drug race. The next stage was definitely not a battle between ordinary disciples and was definitely on the elder's level. "Long Fei, can you win?" Man Toaluo started to worry in her heart. Even when the Pavilion Master had asked for them to leave the Medicine Valley safely, she had wanted to pull Long Fei along with her and leave the valley. But now, too late. The Grand Pavilion Master's voice sank as he said in a heavy tone, "Second stage, immortal elixir. The prescription will fight." As soon as his voice faded, a man in his 40s walked out from the crowd. He had a dull expression on his face as he walked to the side of the Pavilion Master and said, "Disciple will not fail his mission." The eyes of the medicinal pill tightened. At this moment, the medicine stepped forward and said, "Grand Pavilion Master, my grasp of the immortal elixir has also reached the realm of pure fire emotion. Let me go, I'll definitely trample this kid to death." The Pavilion Master said slightly, "There's no need to rush. The prescription has a unique understanding towards immortal elixir." The medicinal pill's expression changed slightly as it replied, "Yes." From the corner of his eyes, he looked at the prescription and thought to himself, "If he wins against Long Fei, then the position of Valley Master might even belong to him. No, this is all planned by me. I can't let him take the fruits of victory." At the same time, the medicinal pill looked towards his most prized disciple, Yao Lang. Yao Lang nodded his head lightly. He knew very well what the pill wanted him to do. And then, Yao Lang gently retreated. Long Fei walked back to Man Tuoyuo's side and lightly said, I will take revenge for what they did to you one by one. Man Tuoyuo secretly frowned and said, You have to be careful. The level of attainment of the medicine towards the immortal elixir is extremely high, and even the Grand Pavilion Master may not be able to surpass him. The most important point about immortal elixir S is that their power of celestial has solidified. Long Fei nodded, I understand. 10 minutes later, the two disciples pushed out the prepared spirit grass S. This time it was a little slow compared to last time. The pavilion master was rather dissatisfied. Why are you so slow? One of the disciples lowered his head and said, Sorry, I took the wrong spirit grass just now. The great pavilion master frowned. Why aren't you rushing? The spirit grass pushed Xiang Longfei to the side, and the disciple who spoke just now handed over the other spirit grass S to the medicine. The pavilion master shouted, Begin! And then, his gaze locked on a Long Fei, and said fiercely in his heart, I'd like to see how you will refine it this time. The alchemy technique did not seem like a person's cultivation. It could not be detected by the power of celestial. Thus, no one knew what realm Long Fei's alchemy technique had reached. Even the Grand Pavilion Master would not be able to tell. However, he believed that Long Fei, the immortal elixir, would definitely not be able to refine it, because immortal elixir S were Earth Stage Level 3 immortal pills, and could only be refined by alchemy masters who had reached Earth Stage Level 3. Just their realms were enough to crush Long Fei. There were only a few third-level Earth Stage cultivators in the entire immortal domain. Long Fei would definitely lose. Just wait. Let's see how you can still act so arrogantly this time. The pavilion master felt displeasure in his heart. Long Fei was still the same as before. He tried to sense all the spirit grass, and only after understanding the attributes of the spirit grass would he be able to make a move. He was in no hurry. However, the recipe was something he had not considered at all, hence he started refining it once he got on the powder-making competition stage. Equals semi/floating life plus. Immortal Elixir S were too familiar to him. He knew how to refine it with his eyes closed. His movements were extremely fast, and just as he thought that he was about to finish, the pill furnace started shaking violently. Finally, boom! A loud sound echoed out. This time, the furnace was really going to explode. 8_8419/2356906. Long Fei started to refine again. This time, he did not refine the ingredients according to the recipe, but using a different method. Every detail about the Grand Pavilion Master was good. He wanted to see what kind of alchemy Long Fei had exactly, and was able to see the realm of his alchemy from his methods. The fire was raging. The spirit grass moved as though it was flying. Long Fei's speed was extremely fast. The moment the pill was about to take shape, he roared in his heart, 3-rate peerless technique, open. Boom! The power of celestial that came out from his palm became even more turbulent, and the pill furnace kept shrinking. Half a minute later, the power of celestial suddenly stopped. Long Fei focused on the pill furnace. The idea sensed every slight change in the pill, and after 10 seconds, boom! The power of celestial released from his palm became even more turbulent. Crazy add-on. Wong! A crisp sound rang out. Done. Long Fei bellowed and let out a deep breath, thinking, Fortunately, I have fused with the God's soul herb. Otherwise, my mental force would not be enough to use it. Alchemy used up too much of his mental power. As the pill furnace opened, immortal energy surged out in all directions. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Check it. The Grand Pavilion Master was overwhelmed with shock. I have never seen such a profound technique before, and this brat's alchemy technique is far beyond my expectations. Who is it? Why have I never heard of such a genius alchemy master? His realm is probably even stronger than man to all Yuo's poison pill realm. Long Fei. People from the Long family of the South Horizon region. He sniffed the immortal energy that was being emitted from Long Fei's powder-making competition stage. He could feel that this pellet was of a much higher quality than the other immortal elixir and he said faintly, "High-grade immortal elixir." As soon as his voice faded, the entire Medicine Valley's disciples and elders were once again shaken. Superior immortal elixir? How is this possible? This is his first time refining immortal elixir? Who the hell is he? At this time, even the space between Mu Xiaoyao's eyebrows tightened. If the quality of the spirit-opening pill was luck and one's luck was explosive, then this immortal elixir was definitely not luck. In his heart, he was also thinking, who exactly is this kid? Too powerful. Even a genius with alchemy couldn't do such a thing. Xiaoying became excited. Victory, Miss Young Master Long has passed the second round. Too cool, huh? Man to all Yuo let out a long breath, looked at Long Fei, and the expression in her eyes became different as she asked herself, who exactly are you? Everyone was shocked. An Earth Stage Level 3 immortal pill was not something that just anyone could concoct. High-grade medicinal pills were even more difficult. At this moment, the expression on the face of the medicinal pill was a little ugly. If it was him, he wouldn't be able to refine a high-grade immortal elixir, but he has Yao Lang. The reason the medicinal formula exploded was because Yao Lang had changed it to another type of spirit grass. Long Fei faintly smiled as he held the pill in his hand and said, "Do you want to test it again?" The Grand Pavilion Master stared at Long Fei and said, "Prepare for the next match." "Ha." Long Fei laughed. "Since that's the case, I will eat it." He directly swallowed the immortal elixir down. Ding! Power of celestial value plus 500 points. Long Fei was secretly excited. Not bad, not bad. This immortal elixir is really not bad. He was currently extremely lacking in power of celestial, so he barely managed to replenish his 500 points of power of celestial. A few minutes later, the Grand Pavilion Master's voice sounded again. Third stage, Blue Panacea. The contestant. The medicinal pills grew excited as they immediately walked forward. "Pavilion Master, I'll do it." The Blue Panacea was something he had researched. He was in charge of refining Blue Panacea in the drug race. So it could be said that no one knew more about how to refine Blue Panacea than him. The head of the pavilion said lightly, "Let's fight with the medicinal pills. This disciple will not fail his mission." The pill was exceptionally happy as he thought to himself, "Looks like the Elder's Pavilion is still on my side. Huh, I must be the new Valley Master." However, even if it was the pill he was good at, the pill still gave Yao Lang a meaningful glance. Yao Lang disappeared once again in the exchange of spirit grass. Even if Long Fei had the ability to transcend the heavens, she would still not be his match. All the medicinal pellets became complacent as they looked at the nearby Long Fei and said, "Brat, this time I will definitely let you experience this old man's power. Just wait for me to admit defeat obediently." Ha! He was very arrogant and proud. However, in Long Fei's opinion, he was just someone who deserved a slap. Long Fei laughed. "Do you want us to bet on it?" Chapter 6, Supplementary Chapter, still 2 chapters short. Thank you for your support. This was the recommended friends book, Hierarch Allsword. Everyone had to download and support it. Haiyang was extremely grateful. 8_8419/2356907. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.